This is Hume Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's the show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
As we come to air tonight, we realize that rather than sit here and just plan for a show that we might never ever do, we'll actually start the show.
Oh, maybe we should do this show.
Because we're all sitting here, keep finding more and more stories to talk about and this and that. But how about we just do tonight's show and get this over with? Oh my God. Hi everybody, Joey from Canada and Jenny. And then there's Mama Di. Hi Mom. Dale's
hello.
there too. Got so many minty people. What?
Joey's got Wi-Fi, beer, and a charger in a hotel room. It
My
doesn't have to
God.
be up till later. That sounds like a party.
Apparently, he
Yeah,
doesn't-
we're coming over.
Apparently, you don't have an available credit card. Otherwise, you could get adult entertainment on the TV. But instead, you've got us free, Joey.
Well, we did promise partial nudity. That will
Partial.
never happen.
No,
Yeah.
it hasn't yet, to my knowledge.
Naked as it gets, friends.
Wait,
That's it.
multiple layers. My heavens.
A fully clothed Cersei's Walk of Atonement.
I'd like to apologize to all of the people who were watching the pre-show where we played Donna Summer instrumental music, and then you see us walking around the studio and the kitchen. I thought I was going to be sneaky and slip out of the studio to finish my edamame that you so wonderfully brought me from the sushi restaurant, forgetting that I installed a camera in the kitchen. So I just go to the kitchen and stand in front of that camera and eat fully in front of
Even
the camera.
closer to the camera.
Exactly. Yes.
Not with a faraway aerial shot,
No.
but in a
Nope.
right in your face, like from the chin down.
Pretty
kind
much.
of a
Yeah.
shot.
Pretty much. Titty cam.
Oh.
I was gonna say tonsil cam, but I think it cut you off a little south.
A little bit, yeah.
There's that. Oh, my heavens. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome. It is the show. Oh, you could have had me like this shot was a much better shot because that's the back shot of me eating, but no, I went in the other camera.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. Did
whatever.
a full frontal.
Oh, well, as we come to you, it's that
Oh,
one.
it is that one. Okay.
We're going to ditch that one. We're back to 3 cameras. We're good. Look at this. Magical. And have you noticed how many 2
Magic
full
things
weeks
are
without
happening.
technicals?
I didn't listen.
Because I
last
haven't
week.
said a fucking word about it because I was afraid to
No,
jinx
yeah.
it.
It's over.
I'm still on that no jinxing rule at
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And it's kind of taken on its life of its own. Like we're doing the whole baseball thing. Like no crossing your legs,
Oh.
no shaving,
Step on a crack,
Rally
break another's
caps,
back.
inside
no
out
talking out
socks.
loud.
Ladders, all that. I didn't even think about that, but at the restaurant, that might be a big deal.
Oh, it is.
Is it?
I feel like
Okay.
I need to sit
Because you're
up
not
more
allowed
with
to.
that angle.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
know.
gonna- well, I'm
You're
gonna
not
go
allowed
back to other
say,
angle.
Sit
quiet
up
or
straight.
boring. You're never allowed to say.
Oh no! Don't.
Oh, it's
say that.
quiet tonight.
'Cause
or
then all
I'm
hell
bored.
breaks
Oh,
loose, yeah.
Yeah. Then literally the barn starts on fire and the horses die.
That's a lovely story. And that's where we get glue, little Timmy.
Yeah.
No, but when that happened in Black Beauty, they saved the horses. They ran in and they put scarves over their faces and they led them out.
Yeah, you can't
And then
always save them.
old Yeller got shot and you spun the dreidel and
Different
found out
movie,
how many
different.
more weeks we had of Christmas. Or spring or summer, whatever Karen Walker used to say.
Literacy just died a little bit.
The
Oh,
Friends
no.
episode of the cow in the meadow
Children's
goes moo, the
literature.
cow in the meadow goes moo, and the farmer hits him on the head, and that's how we get hamburger. Now chickens.
Whoops. No, what?
Now chickens. Very educational, appropriate for children.
Wait, was that some Whitney Houston that you have queued
No,
up?
no,
and
no,
ready
no,
to go?
no.
What
Back
was
to
that?
Donna
No,
Summer.
that was
Oh,
still
that was
Donna
Donna
Summer.
Summer? Oh,
No,
okay,
but
good.
what I was meaning to play was this little gem.
It's Christmas, for goodness sake! Think about the baby Jesus. Up in that tower letting his hair down. So that the 3 wise men can climb up and spin the dreidel and see that there's 6 more weeks of winter.
Oh, Karen, we love you so. Oh, my heavens. Well, here we are. By the way, Marnie's not coming tonight, so if you're waiting for her to walk into the studio, she's
Keep
not.
waiting.
It's going to be 7 more days.
Yes, we'll keep waiting. 7 days, 7 long days till Marnie
That's terrible.
makes an
I'm gonna
appearance.
go like a whole month without seeing Marnie.
And well, wow.
I know.
Interesting. Well, now, and also, I think I had teased this in last week's show, just to show you how live broadcasting works. You never know until the last minute what's going to happen, as you've seen a million times on this show. We were going to have the friend of mine who is with the Arizona Democratic campaign.
Oh, yeah.
She messaged me today, and I'm like, are you ready? Are we good? And she's like, oh, no, can't do it. There's no way. Way too much going on. And I'm like, well, I understand.
House is on fire.
And she's like, literally, barns on fire, horses dying.
Yeah.
So I don't know what all she's gotten into, but I did send I put a bug in her ear. Maybe let me know if you could do a call in. Maybe we can get a little glimpse of what's going on. But apparently with the $2 million that the Hillary campaign has just decided to dump into Arizona in a very extreme effort to turn this blue, they're running like a fucking crazy people.
Creates a lot of work for a lot of
Well,
people.
and when you have like literal footage now of, because one of the things of the McCain ads has been Ann Kirkpatrick running away in 2009 from answering
meet and greet
questions,
in a grocery
meet and greet
store,
about Affordable Care Act.
Yep.
It won't be Obamacare in a couple 100 days or less.
It'll still be
they'll
Obamacare.
still call it that.
But yeah, I know. But then we have to call it the Affordable Care Act. But now they have the same ad to play of him literally running from reporters today. And this is an 80-year-old man hoofing
He
it.
was sprinting it across that lot.
That was a
Can't go, can't talk. I'm late. I'm running late for something.
Running late, guys.
and
running
then,
late.
and then beat him out of the elevator. Like,
Yeah, and the woman who's trying to thwart off the microphone is coming into the elevator. Like, what the hell are you doing, lady?
it's fantastic.
It was kind of fun.
I didn't agree to this.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't heard
I'm
the
pretty
audio.
sure that's what she's screaming.
Oh, I had not heard the audio, but that is funny shit. So we've got a lot going on in the state of Arizona. In fact, right now, as we're coming to you live on this Tuesday night, Bernie Sanders he was earlier in the day, he was in Flagstaff, and then he's doing an appearance in Tucson this evening, but I don't know, they were joking on the radio about if they drive him from Flag to Tucson, which I can't imagine that they would. I think they would fly him somehow. I would, just to be kind to the old guy.
Oh, they left him like
Sure.
30 seconds to spare if he drives. I was trying to do that math today.
So they said that on the what do you normally call it, Heathcliff and Garfield show on the KTAR?
mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. They said that we'd know he was in town as he drove through the Deck Park tunnel screaming out, "Vote for Hillary! Vote for Hillary!"
Pretty true.
Yeah.
Celebrity voice, poorly impersonated.
I don't think SNL is calling you for that.
Oh no, God, no, not with what they're hitting out of the park. They got no reason to
they're
call
on
me
fire.
for any character. Oh my God, I said, because I know this poor young man works on Saturday nights. So lately, I've just been sitting and I watched the first 15 minutes, and then I just sit there and text him a couple like the best lines of the scene.
Yeah.
Oh my God, but I think my favorite is 2 weeks ago when he was rating people. He judged Fiorina at a 4.
Yeah.
That's still the funniest one. But this week was pretty good too, as he would come up behind Hillary and they played the Jaws theme. Oh God, it was just funny shit. And I love how he now is calling for, it's a terrible show, should be canceled. Well, he's fine as long as they're sucking his dick and he's the host.
Right.
He's fine with that. Oh my God,
It's a little thing called poor sportsmanship.
Oh my gosh,
ladies and
you are
gentlemen.
right, 100%.
And on my Facebook page, and my Facebook page has been like way too much information.
Very busy.
But there's a lot going on there.
Very busy.
There is a link to a podcast interview with Michael Che and
From Update on SNL.
Yeah, and I can't think of the other guy's name. Very funny.
Completely wrong name came into my head. Darius Rucker, which is absolutely not part of SNL.
Hootie or the Blowfish?
Either one.
Yeah.
Black guy.
Yeah. Michael
Colin Jost.
Colin Jost and
Yes.
Who has another interesting connection to 9/11 on there because they're Michael Che and say it again.
Colin
Colin
Jost.
Jost.
Yeah,
Jost.
I think it is Jost.
Whichever.
How do you make that a long O? All right.
I'm not sure, but they talk about the
Jost.
mispronunciation of his name
Phonics are
on the show.
terrible.
But if you find this this podcast, and it's maybe 40 minutes, and it's
Is it him?
it's the two of them being interviewed by this guy who has this
that.
podcast.
Okay.
And they talk about meeting Trump and Hillary in their appearances on their show, and that Trump hosted it. So they were in quite a few meetings with him, and they got to know him. So it's a very interesting different way of looking at him. And so it's very even balanced. Like, they're clearly Hillary supporters, but they had a working relationship for 1 week with Donald Trump. So they have a very interesting, like, they have some respect for him as a man, a little bit of insight. But as it goes on and you hear, like, their stories of being, you know, New Yorkers who live in this city, and, like, one of the things that ends up being a punchline is, like, grew up here my whole life. You know what? Never went to the Donald Trump inner city kids camp. Never saw, like, Donald Trump lunches for kids. Like, there's no outreach to the city with all of his money in big towers. Like, where they said, like, even though it's more low key and he keeps it kind of under wraps, I guess there's a lot of programs funded by Bloomberg that you see for kids and stuff like that, because another New Yorker who's actually a billionaire. So it's just kind of funny how they get there through very respectful talk, and they talk respectfully about both of them. They end up having had more of a working relationship with Trump than they did with Hillary, because she only appears for one skit, and if they weren't the writer or part of the skit, then they didn't sit down with the meetings.
Oh, okay.
But they talk about how involved Trump was in the show, and that he showed up every day. He didn't skip any rehearsals. He didn't act like, you know, he really put in the work. He said what he would or wouldn't do, and he didn't say no to much. Like, that he was, you know, very easy to work with. And so it's a really interesting, plus it's fun to hear their stories and how they came together and where they come from as writers and comedians. Because I just kind of felt like Michael Che just kind of, like, fell from the earth, and all of a sudden he was on SNL, but he has this really interesting career behind him, and, like, the stuff he used to write for, and he was a correspondent for, I think, The Daily Show, but now I can't remember if it was that or Stephen Colbert.
Never thought about that.
Like
Potato.
Larry Whitmore, David Whitmore, is that Larry Whitmore from
Larry Whitmore.
Yeah, Larry Whitmore,
Who was canceled.
Turns out he's one of the original executive producers and is in the first couple episodes of The Office.
Oh,
Like, he helped with the creation of The Office.
Didn't
He
know
does the one of their meetings about HR meetings. They have to come in for some when Michael was doing the Chris
Larry
Rock.
Whitmore does. Yes, he does.
So he's an executive producer, and so he comes from this, like, another really rich
I went back to
background.
Michael Che. I was looking in my brain for, like, Michael
Yeah.
Che in The Office. I was wrong.
So I mean,
okay.
so it was a really interesting listen that I got sucked into the other day.
was really fun.
Plus, I find them.
you did post that. I did see that.
Yeah.
I didn't listen.
But I mean, seriously, there's been so much going up on my Facebook page that there's no. That's why I had to put up that 10 seconds from Will and Grace, because this you might have time for.
Here's a
Oh,
break.
I missed the Will and Grace one.
It was good.
It's where Grace, and I don't know who she's with, is singing "Enough Is Enough" on the piano.
It's the guy that they always play Pictionary with and lose against.
Oh, right.
I forget him and his partner.
Him and his wife. Yeah.
They're singing
Enough is enough, and all of a sudden, Karen just goes, "It's enough."
I wonder if I can. Let's see. Can I enjoy that? You talk.
I'm
I'll find
sure
it.
you can find
I'll
it.
find it. Well, it's on your Facebook page.
Yes,
It shouldn't
but
be
it's
difficult.
buried way down there because there's so many hundreds. So, Catherine.
Oh my
What'd
goodness,
you do
hi.
this week?
Oh my God! For 2 weeks, I've been very, very busy.
We've only got
Oh,
time
yeah.
for 1 week.
Yeah, pick your
Two
favorite.
things.
Sophie's
Settle
Two
down.
weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Sophie's choice this shit.
Actually, we got time because we can split Marnie's time up 3 ways.
She
ways.
She remembers anyways. She never has.
I gotta tell something.
Well, sure, you
That'd
can
be
have your
3
usual
wa-
amount of time,
Yeah.
but we're gonna take
Oh.
her time and we're gonna divide it in two.
So basically, because she does it, it's the same shit, and I say same shit, and we're done. All right, fuck you, people.
So
bitter.
I am, for the most part, I'm trying to just kill myself with work.
Oh,
Yeah, suicide by employment.
the best way to go, but
I mean, but it's profitable. So it's been work. I did get to go and because you know my motto, where the gays are drinking, I'll be working. So I was out at the Rainbows Festival on Sunday, serving the drinks and having a delightful time.
I missed that again this year. Well, not again, but I mean, I missed it this year. I didn't go either day.
Yeah, well, it was still there. It was, and it was actually kind of funny because, and clearly, no offense to any of the entertainers at the Rainbows Festival, but I was just having flashbacks because I feel like it's been about 5 years since I was at Rainbows Festival, and I feel like we're playing the same soundtrack.
that's true.
I'm concerned. Yeah,
I think you're correct.
I'm pretty sure I'm correct because I got to work with and met the new manager at the Cash Inn Country, or the Cash nightclub as it is now
Yes.
known. So I got to meet her, and she was working at the same bar that I was working at. And I looked at her at one point when they played one song, and I said, my gosh, I'm having flashbacks to 2 years ago. Are they still playing this at your bar? And she just kind of looked at me sideways, and then the next track came on, and I was like, oh my God, this is that playlist. Wait a minute.
Shut up!
I know what's next. I'm like, if they play Bitty Bitty Bum Bum next, it's over, and I'm done.
And?
And they did.
Oh!
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So I was highly entertained by that lack of originality. So maybe we should branch out. There are new songs being released daily,
Since Bitty
minutely,
Bitty Bum Bum, there's
weekly.
been a couple.
Right.
Well, true. Now, in fairness to the Selenas,
and it was Sunday, so maybe Saturday's entertainment was
better.
was much more on top of things.
The MAC Cosmetic Company just released, and it's apparently like $1 billion. They released an entire
whole Selena collection,
makeup
didn't they?
collection,
I did
yes,
see that.
which is ludicrously priced. Like the whole set is $3,000 or some bullshit like that.
Wow,
Which-
20 years later?
yeah, I don't know why it took them that long to get all the dyes right. I don't know what the fuck.
Wow, that's
But so they did that, and then they released also some. There's a new release of singles or number one hits or some bullshit because a friend of mine who's a DJ just got it all on vinyl and was thrilled to get that. So there's
Is it an
do
anniversary?
remember
Did I
seeing
miss the
that.
part where you said that?
I know there's nothing to.
I don't. It
Like, how
could
long
be
has she
20
been
years.
dead?
It could
Oh,
be
it's
20
over.
years.
Oh, I think it's over 20.
It was
Dear
94,
Google,
96.
how long
I think we're
has
over-
it
I think it-
been since
Selena,
Selena?
you could just type Selena death.
I like to type the whole
I
sentence.
guess you do.
Oh, I spelled it wrong.
It was earlier this year, I think. Or no, 2 years ago. I think
It's
it was.
been 19 years.
Oh, so it was 97?
It couldn't have
Wait,
been.
no, that's an old article. No, it's been 21 years.
Yeah, because
95. I thought 94,
that's what I was
96
thinking.
in that
95.
range.
Because I remember when she died, when they were still able to cruise Central in this city, when they would go to where Central split, they would cruise from wherever that radio station was at the time, Y95 or whatever the fuck it was.
Sure.
They would cruise there and cruise up to Camelback. And oh dear God, when she died, this whole city went nuts. All these people,
Sure.
all the stuff. Yeah, I do
And
remember.
I was earlier than that. I was kind of living with this gentleman named Kiki, who I very much enjoyed, and you would have loved.
He looked at
Oh.
me for those of you not watching.
Yeah. But so
You don't know I might have
we
liked
would-
him too.
we would go back and
Damn
forth.
it, I'm tired of being left out.
Sir, we'll get to you in a minute.
We would go back.
down.
We would go back and forth on watching TV on the mornings that we were off together, and we would lay in bed and watch TV, and always funny because we spoke in Spanish for him. We very rarely spoke in English together, and like he was the one that when Whitney Houston unhinged your jaw and hit that note for the first time in "I Will Always Love You," and he's like, "She's got a big fucking mouth." I mean,
That's all the English you do.
no, he said it in Spanish, but that's what it translated to, and that was his take on
Grande
that
la
song.
boca.
Like Pinchy Boca, and then we would watch Sábado Gigante in bed quite a bit, and that's how I knew
No, Jenny, she
Selena
did
was
not.
because he loved her. I'd never heard of her, but we would watch it every week. And the Selena would always lead to a little bit of action because he
Oh,
just
he
was
get excited.
He would
Crazy
get very
about it.
excited.
He wanted a bum.
Yeah,
I love it.
oh, that went wrong.
So back to me. I did the Rainbows Festival thing. The girl from the Cash, very, very nice. Her name was Jen. I also got to see.
Is she the one with the glasses and the short hair?
Sure.
I think I realize it just may have described half the lesbians in Phoenix. My
I'm going
apologies.
to go with yes.
My apologies, sir. But there's been if you go to their Facebook page, which
I don't.
No, I did today. I had been a friend of their Facebook page for a while. It's interesting now. Whoever's doing their promotion, they promote a hell of a lot more than they ever have.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more going on there than it looks like, to my knowledge, ever has been going on in that bar.
And where's this at? I missed the bar.
The Cash Inn, the old Cash.
Oh, yeah. Don't read their page very often.
No, but I'm just saying.
Neither do I.
I give kudos to whoever
Sure,
the new owners
whoever's
are.
doing the
They are
promoting.
actually promoting and doing, which I don't recall ever seeing much before
Right.
happening. So kudos to them. But there is a girl who's repeatedly in these pictures, and I thought maybe she was some
It
new
might be her.
entertainment
Sure.
director. I don't know who the fuck she is.
She-
Molly Montgomery's still there and still ranting about something to do with the fact that a lesbian bar isn't owned by lesbians. I'm like, well, get some fucking money together, bitch.
Right. Get
Molly, that's for you. Get
get a
some money
loan.
together. Get a bar. Shush.
Or get a better business plan. But
Potato.
Wow.
No, and that falls under my belief that gay bars are slowly dying out too, because there's less need for the younger generation to have them. They're less. They're less sanctuary and more novelty.
Yeah, it's turned out to be just the site of many, many bachelorette parties. Like that's.
Unfortunately, you're right. Oh, I agree.
I can't even. Anyway,
And
so,
I say it all the time that I end up more often in straight, local places with liquor than I do. Actually, I think we're at like 90% to 10 at this point. I guess we could say 9 to 1, and then get rid of the zeros.
4 out of 5 did a
you could do
survey.
that.
4 out of 5, or 40 out of 50, depending on how many they surveyed.
least common denominator people.
That I just end up at those places because there's usually better. Sadly, it's better wine, and the music is almost always better.
Yeah.
Because I can't listen to some of the stuff they play.
Well, that and you're not attacked
'cause
every
it's-
5 minutes
it's
by some
still
screaming queen. I was like,
Selena.
no, shut up, go home.
Yeah.
That drives me fucking crazy. That's one of the things that really drives me nuts. When I go to like Stacy's and sit alone in that corner, that one
Yeah.
chair by myself, that doesn't mean everybody come talk to me. That means, are you okay? Why are you just sitting over here by yourself? Because I want to be alone.
Because I don't like you people. I just want to drink.
Get off my lawn!
Yeah. The traditional get off my lawn seat.
Yes.
Yes, we know that.
So anyway, now that we've slammed the community that we love, and
We're not done. I'm sure. We have 2.5
Buckle
hours.
up, yeah.
Continue on, my wayward son. Carry on, I mean.
thing number 2 of this two things segment is I am now a professional politician.
Oh, very exciting.
That's right. In my biannual tradition,
Oh, I need
I
to find a
have
picture.
found local political races where there is only one candidate, and I have begun the campaign for my write-in win. Local listeners that live in District 15 of the state senate, it's District 3 of the county supervisors.
I forgot you have an official campaign page. I forgot about this.
I do have an official
The
campaign
Vote
page.
for Cat. I love it.
Yeah, well, because I figure that's generic, and I could just revive that next year when I campaign for whatever else.
Right.
This started 4 to 6 years ago. I can't find the picture yet, but it started 4 to 6 years ago when I happened to notice that the state mine inspector was running woefully unopposed.
We can't have that.
And I find that, no, I really do find that to be...
This is her cover picture for that page. I love this.
Yeah, so this is... There I am. That's my ballot.
And now you know how to spell Catherine correctly, so that
That's
it's
true. Yeah, with a Y. With a Y. It's not all the IER whatever bullshit. But yeah, so that's, and I have counted up to about 20 votes so far that have been pledged and photographically, sent to me.
Right. People post them
Which
everywhere.
is wonderful.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 4 years ago, or no, two
Maybe
years ago.
Maybe I will
I ran
too.
for
I
state
haven't.
senator.
I've partially filled mine in. I'm really torn on all the justices, and there's a whole water, like a Southwest water continuum. I have to go through.
The water thing you really need to look
the
at,
hell
because
those people are.
there was a whole thing in the paper about kind of the corruption that's happening with that water commission. So actually look at that.
Or just watch the movie Chinatown, because that is the whole point of the movie
Right, but
Chinatown.
that's not going to tell me who to vote for.
No, but it's nice a background to
Okay,
find
good.
out how water rights go wrong.
Yeah, but you can just Google the water commission
Okay.
and find some kind of
I
articles
usually
about
ask
it.
Buddy Early.
Buddy Early knows things. too.
No, he is untrustworthy. He's voting no on the marijuana
I did
thing
see
because he
that.
doesn't like the smell.
He's Buddy.
I don't think that's actually why he's voting for it. If you, I read through that entire clusterfuck of a comment, and it looks like he did vote against it, but not for the smell. The smell was the funny part.
Oh, okay.
The voting against it was the.
But
true
even
part.
still, I was kind of surprised by the voting against. I'm like, wow, he really is get off my lawn age.
I'm not sure, and I don't want to speak for him, but maybe there's like other reasons,
Yeah.
If we
like
could call
personal
him.
reasons.
It'd be fun to call.
Because
him.
my thing is that just
could.
has to be decriminalized. Like just
Yes.
and they've made it very like you don't really get any kind of time for less than an ounce as long as there's no intent to distribute or intent to sell
Right.
or growing. But at the same time, you don't want the people that are growing for medical purposes to run into any kind of problem. There's just too much shit wrong with the whole marijuana laws and the drug cartels coming over from there's just so much there to like vote yes on this and then
Yes.
keep charge of your children.
Well,
and keep
I thought
them
it was
away-
interesting.
Keep your children away from pot or any kind of candy that doesn't really spell Kit Kat.
Right. And also lock up the liquor. Like
Yeah, exactly.
No.
In fairness, I have not followed all of these campaigns, nor listened to that old woman who was on the airplane trying to tell me how to shut it down. So
Don't listen to her.
I'm really
Oh,
not on the. I haven't heard all of the pros and against, yada yada yada. Now, I did see this morning or yesterday. I saw an anti-commercial, all shot in Colorado, of all of these people saying all of the things that Colorado didn't get with this, meaning. They said the schools never got the money. This
Same with
never
their
happened.
lottery, and that happened with
Okay.
their lottery.
So-
that-
And
My-
here's the problem with that is that you're trusting your state legislators, who you have no idea who these corrupt fuckers are, to follow through on sending that money. Now, Arizona's been burned on this 100 times. In fact, very, very recently, Prop 123. Okay? Your state legislature is still not going to distribute the funds, but better to have the money and then have this other problem than to have all these people in jail and be spending the money
right.
to incarcerate them.
And it separates families. It causes disenfranchisement. If you're living in a state that hasn't gotten rid of 3 strike rules or stop and frisk, it just leads to.
I have to run and
Yeah.
give one little thing. We're
Yeah.
going to go live with Buddy Early in just a couple of moments. But
Oh, is he
I
listening?
love it.
But I messaged him.
Oh, how funny.
Very good.
But I want to add something to that thing about the.
Okay.
No.
But the and I understand where they're coming from. Like, if Colorado didn't get the golden ticket that they were expecting, I can almost guarantee you can look at their state legislature.
Yeah, and find out where the money got
and find
shafted and
out
put
where the
somewhere
money
else.
actually went to and who was involved in that. And again, local government is fucking you over, people. Like,
Yeah, and it
this
really
is what's happening.
the important part of your voting. And that's
Well-
the thing with us with the lottery.
Yeah.
We agreed to the lottery. I think we agreed to the lottery before we agreed to Martin Luther King Day because of this ass-backwards
Probably.
Alabama of the Southwest.
Well, because we had it and then we got rid of it and then we had it again because we needed football.
Yeah. Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's this fucked up thing where we were promised in the original campaign for getting the lottery was that the money would go for schools and schools would never want for money again. And a minute later, schools were wanting for money. So it was
Right,
just.
because we didn't put the money where it goes,
Right,
and then we enacted laws.
and all
that-
we did was.
So unless you guys already covered it and I missed it in my trying to get a hold of Buddy Early.
No.
So the question was, when I saw the ad about them saying, don't make our mistake, don't do what we did, yada, yada, yada. Why isn't somebody saying, here's where they screwed up, here's where it went wrong in Colorado, we'll do it right in Arizona, and we won't be screwed up like that, and the money will go where it needs to go.
Right, because you already have Washington and Oregon, and you're not hearing. I don't know why they're not weighing
You're
in
not
on
hearing
those two
horror
states.
stories from them because we're not in a climate, especially this year. We're not in a political climate of let's fix it. We're in a political climate of be afraid of them.
Right.
We're not in a place, and people are not responding to messages of let's get together, let's make a solution, let's help people, let's fix things. They're only responding to these people are scary and you need to vote against them,
Right.
which is I have a lot to say about that, but that's a very frightening, almost Hunger Games kind of a place to be living. Like,
Right.
we're 3 elections away from having a capital city and living in District 13.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out.
District 13. And with the smell thing, and I put it on Buddy's page, and I keep saying it. Like, one of the things that I hate, and that makes my stomach just turn, is the smell of stale beer later. Like when we went through the Coors plant, and you could kind of smell that beer on the floor and stuff like that
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's just beer going.
It's like a musty old bar.
And I've dated quite a few people that drank Bud Light, and the next morning smelling Bud Light coming back at me is one of the, like, you got to go brush your teeth, take a shower. That is just, like, so gross to me. So I kind of get where
Sure.
people are coming from, but I'm not voting against Bud Light. I mean, it's every beer, but everybody that I
would
know.
vote against Bud Light.
Let's see if we can
Yeah.
reach out and touch someone. Let's see if we can get Buddy Early. And I'm hoping that this is I hope he can hear us well.
Yes,
Buddy Early, this is Clayton McKee. How are you?
I'm good.
Are you sure about that? You sound a little timid about that, a little trepidatious, if you will.
No, it's just been a long day.
Okay, well, here's our question for you. And we're not chastising you. We just wanted to get your input on why.
Inquiring minds want to know.
We were discussing, I don't know if you know, but it's election season. There's a lot going on. And one of the things in Arizona that has been a hot topic is the yes or no on Prop 205, which is the recreational marijuana. And you
Get out! Really?
are one of the people that we know who is voting no on that, and we just wanted your input as to why.
Okay, so the ballot is in the mail. Nobody's going to change my mind. I voted no. Case closed. I think there are a multitude of reasons why I voted no, but I will say I think voting no because marijuana is a disgusting smell. I think that's perfectly fine reason.
Okay.
I think if that's your reason. That's just one of my many reasons. But to be perfectly honest, I've just done a lot of research, and I've spoken to a lot of people, not in person, but people I've interacted with online, real people, not like, fake people who are giving all this spin or one way or the other. People in Colorado and Oregon, and they're not pleased with how things are working for them there with the marijuana legalization. Of course, I'm sure there's a whole other group of people who think it's great.
Well, sure.
These are just people I happen to know who live in Colorado or Oregon, including my brother who lived in both Colorado and then in Oregon and now lives here. And so I'm pretty, I listen to what he has to say on a lot of issues, and he said, look, people are smoking it everywhere, in the streets, in their cars, in parks, and there's no enforcement. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't have faith that Arizona is going to have any better enforcement than either of those states. So I thought the wording of it, when you actually get right down to it, all it says is people can smoke it in private. Well, what is private?
Oh.
Okay.
I think that's the problem they've been running into in other states is
Well, I think based on the track record of where your brother has lived, Oregon, Colorado, and Arizona, we're going to get it passed, apparently, because he's lived in 2 other states where they've got it.
He's like a good luck charm.
Yeah. I know as of, last week I looked at a poll that said it was trailing, but as of this morning, it looks like it's probably going to pass. If it passes, it passes. I'll deal with it. But if I have any say, I don't want it, and that's maybe a selfish.
Well, no, it's everybody's individual opinion.
Yeah.
I get that. No, we're not. And again, this isn't a chastising. We just were curious what your reasoning was. Now, one of the questions I brought up earlier, I'm assuming you've seen, because I know you don't live in a cave and you occasionally see television. So there was an ad that I saw that was an anti-205, and it was people from Colorado. And one of the things that they say in the commercial is, don't do what we did. Schools didn't get the funding. This didn't get the funding, yada, yada. My question would be, why is it we don't learn from their mistakes and make sure that those rules are put in place so that all of these entities get those funds?
Well, we're Arizona. We don't learn from anyone else's mistakes. We make
That's true.
Okay.
We have to make the mistakes for ourselves.
Got it.
But also, to my knowledge, there is no earmarking of these marijuana funds that were supposed to, this huge windfall of money. As far as I know, it's not money dedicated to schools or whatever.
Well, the money that's dedicated to the schools isn't going to the schools, so why would we put extra money there?
Yeah.
Betty?
Oh.
Yeah.
And the one thing that just came up in the chat room is that, you practically get crucified for smoking in public
Now, just a regular cigarette.
So I'm not quite sure why smoking pot would somehow be different. Like
hipsters.
I remember being at a hotel with Harrison where somebody 8 stories up lit up a cigarette and she was religiously offended, and I'm like, we can't complain about that. They're outside, they're a distance away. What can you do about that cigarette? Especially since we had just been at a concert. Yeah, we had just been in a concert where everybody was smoking pot. We were at one of the Marley family in concert. And
well, a lot of concerts you go knowing that's what you're getting yourself into. But
I don't understand the difference in the smoke. That's what I'm saying from your point of view.
The stench is about 100 times worse if you're asking, what's the difference on that level.
Oh, and I feel like it's smelling warm jasmine. But no, I don't see why they wouldn't enforce the smoking thing the same way of you can't smoke in public.
But they don't.
Yeah, but
you can smoke. No, well, my point is, I'm standing out on my street right now. Actually, if someone is across my residential street smoking a cigarette, I'm not really going to get a whiff of that. But believe me, I do. As you know, I take my evening constitutional almost every night, and I walk by people's homes, and they're in their homes. They can do whatever. But the point is, you can smell that shit from far away. So I'm just. Taking the advice of people who live those places where they're like, I can't even go to a public park without being assaulted with the stench.
Well, buddy, as your new county supervisor, let me tell you,
Write-in candidate Catherine Carlson now on the line.
I will do everything
my
that I
God.
can.
Yes, I appreciate your support.
I'm here for you, buddy. I work for
No.
you.
One thing I think it's so funny, this whole debate, because I sort of kicked off a firestorm on Facebook this morning with this whole thing.
Yeah, that's how we got there.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who don't know or forget that we have medical marijuana here
Yes.
in this
Yeah.
state.
Yeah, so if you need it medically, you can get it. It's a hurdle. It's a pretty big hurdle and an expensive hurdle to get over.
It is. Well, I would say we need to address why that's such a hurdle if it's a medical necessity. I understand, and this, by the way, was pointed out to me by someone with the last name Goldwater. They have to pay a $250 a year, $250 a year fee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that's maybe where I would say let's address that. Why
Yeah.
is that fee there? And why is it so difficult if this is, like me going to get my high cholesterol medication,
Right.
Whatever. So I would address that.
They don't want some medicine to all of a sudden be cheap. So an effective
Yeah, I thought it was
medication
funny
has
that
to
someone
be
with the
like
last name
blindingly
Goldwater
expensive in
was,
America. They had to find
was
some way to make it.
lamenting the cost. I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's not your best argument.
No, I mean, but
I hope he's not listening.
I
If you
read
listen to
that
the
thread,
show-
and that's what I kind of that's what I kind of tagged onto too. Is that fee is kind of ridiculous, and it's
totally.
and it's still like the one thing that we're not addressing as a nation as we're going state by state is it's still listed as a Category 1 drug of no medical
Yeah.
benefit, where cocaine isn't because it's a numbing and it can be used to stop bleeding, but. But they're still fighting the pot thing and keeping it in this horrible category where it doesn't belong.
Right. And trust me, I know there are a lot of good reasons why it should be legal. And in theory, I support it. But I just think that the law is the proposition is poorly written. And the consequences, I think it's going to lead to some consequences we didn't expect. And, maybe it'll come back, if it does fail, maybe it comes back 2 years from now and it's...
Yeah, because Washington took 2 tries.
Okay.
Washington took 2 tries, and Ohio's law was written so badly that it failed, and they knew even the pro-pot people were like, not with that
That wording?
That wording, they couldn't
Got it.
pass it. I do have to say though, to the other question, and I can smell it. Trust me, I've searched through Magic Mountain trying to find the pot that I thought I smelled. So I can smell it on anybody, and I can tell when somebody's high in about 5 seconds of conversation.
Yeah.
Every time I've been to Colorado, and I've been going a little bit more often lately, still have never smelled it.
Oh my God, I did.
I know, when you said you did, and I was like in Denver, and I'm like, I got nothing. Walked around Manitou Springs, where the places actually are being sold recreationally. I didn't smell anything till we walked through the door of the store, and I'm like, oh, there it is. That was the first time, and we were out in the Garden of the Gods or whatever that's called. We were up on Pikes Peak, where clearly there's a lot of fresh air, and not a whiff came my way.
I
So
got
I was
it.
like, what is this thing that people are talking about? Because I am clearly trained.
Sure, I know you are. A connoisseur, if you will. Well, buddy, thank you for letting us call you and pick your mind about that. I thought just nice to have a discerning point of view on this topic, to see an opposition view.
I'm glad I could shed some light on this situation.
Now, I'd
for
like
you.
to call you after the election. I'd like to call you back and talk about that high cholesterol medication if we could.
Oh, yeah, I just kind of slipped that in there.
We've always been very concerned for your health, buddy.
On the phone with
you
us,
should be.
Buddy Early, former co-host of this show and a grammar Nazi all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Buddy Early. Thank you, buddy.
Bye, buddy.
All right, you guys. I'll see you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
And that's why he can't help you with the rest of the ballot.
Oh, that was fun to have him
Buddy,
out
did
there.
you hear that? The bus just went right over you.
And guess who's driving? Mr. Perkins.
But one of the things that I do also have to say is, as far as going from as a teenager where everyone that I knew was a recreational pot user, some of them moving up to the professional level and losing their Olympic status, I don't actually know but like 1 or 2 people now in my wide circle of friends who smokes pot. Like, I just don't know anybody. So I don't know who this is going to affect. And that's why I've been like, who are, and I said on Buddy's page, I'm like, at your age, where does this circle of friends come in that you're going to all of a sudden meet that are like, that you don't
'Cause-
already know smoking pot?
Right.
Right.
Like, because anybody that enjoys the pot smoking has never let illegality.
Has
No,
found a way.
they
has
found a way, right,
Life
exactly.
finds a way. We'll go Jurassic Park on
Yeah.
this.
Oh,
one.
that's very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
It's always good
that's
to
true.
quote Jeff Goldblum. So that was my thing. Is like, are you,
You know,
just
we've
meeting
got a
more
lot
and
of
more
mileage
children?
out of my week.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
We're
we're not
still
even
on-
done.
I thought you were gonna say your weed.
I was going to toss back to you in a second because I realized we're not done with the Cat Carlson.
We're still on my week.
We're still on write-in candidate, if I'm not
My
mistaken.
goodness, we are still on writing candidates.
Well, and this is good
My
because
gosh.
California has it on the ballot. I think Maryland has it on the ballot. Ours is pretty much at 50-50, and they're not doing a lot of polling that I've seen. I keep trying to find.
Joey, who the hell? What do you mean? What does cocaine smell like? Is that a joke?
Yeah. Oh, I think he was saying, what does crack or heroin burning smell like?
I
don't know.
I don't know, but I understand from SVU that it's a heavy chemical smell. But I honestly have no idea. Somebody again, this is
Oh, and cocaine, weed, and there's a nosebleeds come up a lot because of the patient population that we have.
Wow.
And so sometimes you have to pack people's noses with cocaine, and we have to have somebody go down with the pharmacy and sign off for it.
Oh, really?
And they pack people's noses with cocaine and tampons, and it does stop bleeding. So
it's a coagulant. I did not realize.
As
of
it-
some sort. I'd have to look that up to tell you
Cat
for
Carlson,
sure.
you
Too
have a
many-
point?
I'm just fact checking a little bit.
I enjoy
from-
that live, live fact check.
Live fact checking on HillaryClinton.com. From theweedblog.com.
Sounds like a reputable source.
It does. It does. States with marijuana on the ballot.
Uh-huh.
I feel like these guys would know.
Yeah.
Probably because they're out there just
I'm feeling good about this source.
they're pushing Bernie Sanders everywhere.
California, Nevada, Maine, Arizona, Massachusetts, Florida,
Wow,
Arkansas, and Montana.
all this
Oh,
year.
so there were M states, just not
Now,
Maryland.
they're not all recreational. For example, Montana is voting
Okay.
to reinstate its medical marijuana laws.
Now, does that mean that's an extension of what they've got, or did they lose them and they're asking for them back, or is it just a
marijuana
continuance?
was originally made legal in 2004 in the state. However, legislative restrictions made the law nearly impossible to work. So
Oh.
now they're voting to
right, got it.
reboot.
Right.
Basically,
Got
they're,
it.
they're gonna hit F1.
We've revised this, and yeah, got it.
Yeah, and there's there's details on all of them, but those are the states that have any sort of marijuana issue on their ballot. So those are the states we will be watching 3 weeks from tonight.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
And it's interesting to see how they
Can't come soon
fall
enough.
because
So
Washington
far
passed the first
away.
time. It was Oregon that took the
couple.
second try
One of
because
them,
they were
yeah.
the ones. And some of these things, interestingly enough, are forced on ballots. It was a Karl Rove thing to do. That's how gay marriage became a thing. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a big push for gay marriage. Republicans started throwing gay marriage
If
on
we just
ballots.
shut them up,
No, it was on there to get conservatives out to vote
Oh.
against
Vote,
it.
sure.
So that's why in the 2012, where gay marriage was on the ballot in Minnesota, Republicans were convinced, like absolutely convinced, and they talked about it all the time in the unskewing of the polls, that they thought Minnesota, and I think Maryland is I think
have an uprising.
where the Baltimore, where the Chris
Orioles?
Cluey. No, the Baltimore Ravens. I think Chris Cluey. I think that's the team he plays for.
Uh,
He had remember he wrote the really angry letter to the people that were anti-gay marriage,
oh yeah,
and that's why I think it was
Wasn't
the
he also
Baltimore
cute?
Ravens. Yes, he also is very cute.
funny how I remember that.
But that was how gay marriage kind of got on the scene. It wasn't because people were pushing for it, that Republicans were putting it out there as an issue, and then
get
gays
conservatives
started.
out.
Gays were like, well, we'll fight for that, sure. Like,
Yeah.
we were trying to get equality and jobs and housing, but
Give us
okay.
that.
So, and it turned something that was kind of a fringe issue, that became a real thing, and that's why when people are like, oh, politicians weren't for gay marriage, well, really, nobody was.
Buddy, because now we've hung up on him. He's down in the chat room saying, remember, Arizona voters had to pass medical marijuana like 2 to 3 times. The first
Right.
couple of times, the state legislature managed to block it, which I do recall that.
Yeah, and it's very, and especially like rheumatoid arthritis is that's what Jenny's talking about.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones where the pain and the inflammation is really helped by, so you don't have to go higher than NSAIDs and stuff like that. Like you can really stay on a better pain
Management.
route with
Okay.
with that. So yes, and I the California medical marijuana is, if you have $40, you've got a medical marijuana card. You just go see a doctor. in the clinic on Venice Beach, and he prescribes your need. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like
Man,
how
you look
easy it
awfully
is.
stressed out. Do you have a checkbook?
Yeah, and it's, but
Cash.
we've talked about like how easy it is to get a service animal in
Right.
the more liberal states because no one can ask a question. The one thing that
Strap
you're
a vest on a.
I
on
think it's now
anything.
every state in the nation. You are not allowed to ask someone why they have that service animal. Like, you are not allowed to ask. So if someone says, I have this service animal that needs to come into the restaurant with me, you're
Well,
not allowed to ask them why.
In an odd segue that's coming up later on in the show about a
I'm
service
just
animal.
dreaming up different service pets now.
Oh, Chris Cluey was with the Vikings, and he was part of the Minnesota vote. But that was one of the reasons why in
nobody's
2012,
listening.
Karl Rove really thought that the Minnesota polls were all wrong. And he kept saying that Minnesota was not really a blue state because they had fought to get that gay marriage. It was put on there by Republicans. It wasn't put on by...
Thanks, Carl.
Yeah, so Karl Rove kind of backdoored his way into gay marriage. And he-
Oh,
and that's why they kept. That's yeah. And I
don't
say
get
that all
it.
the time.
yeah, really.
Or if you listen back to the shows after the 2012 election, that Karl Rove, all the conservatives were angry. They're like, "No, you told us that we could still discriminate against gays. Like,
Yeah, not
you
anymore."
Did this to make it legal, and it keeps getting fucked 100 different ways. So there you go.
Well, there's that.
What else you got into?
What else
How
did
what
you
did you do
say?
this week?
I did. Hello, Harrison.
You just gave up. Damn it, Kat.
I did give up. I'm
I
over
have
it.
just.
I'm in
done,
politics now. I got to know when to fold them.
Oh wow! What are you, the Kenny Rogers? All of a sudden,
Yeah.
know when
I
to walk
officially
away,
just
know when
did-
to run.
I turned into the white woman that I really am, and I spent my weekend fundraising.
I noticed that.
Girl.
So
Oh,
I just
and you acronym Nazi. What is that? Where did this come from? All of a sudden,
Well, it's all organic, and there always has to be something to make my thank yous a little bit different every
Well, that's true. You do that.
every year. I try to make each thank you to
It was
someone
kind
who
of
donates.
comical. In fact, I wonder if let me see if I can pull one up on the old thing to show people what you're doing. If they don't already stalk you on the Facebooks, which I don't know how you can.
Why wouldn't you?
I know.
Mr. Perkins can be entertaining.
And I try really hard to make it some reason to support me and to make my thank yous to each person not quite so generic.
Okay, I think this is.
Some of them are better than others.
Screenshot. Hit it.
I don't think. Oh, can I do that on this? This might be interesting to see if I can do it on this one. Let's see. Let's see how this works. This might be
I
it.
love it already.
You're funny.
Thank you.
We're overtaxing this poor computer to make shit happen. We do it every week. But now that I figured out something special about this goddamn thing,
Ooh, what did we find out?
well,
Oh, Crypto from Michigan
it's,
is with
it's-
us.
it's amazing.
Harrison's joined us, and then Jacob. And then I put my link so you can sponsor me in the AIDS walk. I've moved into 5th place on our team.
Oh,
Catherine
Oh.
Carlson is currently number 2.
I am number 2 behind that fucking dog.
I that fucking dog.
Fucking
God
dog.
damn dog.
there's
If
a
we can
dog.
only-
Yeah, the dog is number 1 for Barbara Seville's Wonderful 100. I get very bitter about losing to animals. And Marina is number 7 because
Is she?
I passed her.
You know, I haven't been
Now-
keeping track. I know I'm number 11
So
statewide. Last I looked.
Oh, good.
I
Yay.
had just dropped out of the
this
top
is,
10.
and I'll let you explain it because it's just funny. But this is the one most recent on your page. This is Al Perkins' Facebook post and his unique way of thanking people.
So it was P-Town ambassador, obsessive Pippin disorder, OPD survivor, and star of his own reality show In the Heights, because he lives in Washington Heights. Matt Morotska is the latest to show both money and encouragement throw both money and encouragement my way. He has generously sponsored the If I Start Tonight and Never Shower, I May Have Enough Sunblock On by Sunday Morning walk, which has been described as many people as the WTHA WWTS ATGFHOMI WATBACS TLB TTSS. Others call it 2016 Phoenix AIDS Walk. Thank you, Matt, and start saving your spare change in aluminum cans for Hello Dolly with the Divine Miss M this spring.
Oh my God!
So let me see if I can get this right. Why the hell are we walking the streets at this godforsaken hour of morning in what appears to be a circular shape that leads back to the starting line?
That's pretty close.
The starting spot.
Very nice.
And then the other thing is if you just let me walk home from the starting line, I think that's 5 kilometers.
It's the same.
if you just fire the gun and let
I
me
go
walk
home.
home
Same.
Well, as it turns out, at Rita's Foundation, while they appreciate our like physical support on the day of the walk,
They don't like
care.
acronyms?
No, they don't care. They just want the money.
Yeah. Oh. And it just makes it more personal.
It's so funny though that you say that and you do this. and I hashtagged something the other day. The sleep. My favorite is your sleep in for the cure.
What the gay hell? I'm number 3.
Oh, who got ahead of you?
Jeremy Heitman.
Oh, I don't like him.
Who?
I
don't know who he is.
already don't.
Can we call him?
I don't know if I have his number. Wait.
I don't know who he is. Do I know him?
I've met him.
He's on Barbara Seville's team, right?
He seems nice.
Well,
he is on. Well, that's how I'm number 3 because he's on our team.
Oh, this is a team thing. This isn't an overall.
Oh,
no,
no,
but she was
overall.
11th
I'm
in the
still
state.
11th.
Okay.
I'm still 11th
Well, good for you,
overall.
though.
Yeah, I'm the
10 people did better, but good for you.
10 people did better, but let's see, 1,321 people did worse.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I'm
yeah.
one of them.
I did the math wrong on that. I rounded.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
there's
finished
over 1,300 people that are registered, and I'm number 11 in fundraising.
I finished 3rd in the state a couple years ago.
Oh, I
and
remember that.
Good for you.
But I didn't.
do
I
remember
didn't
that.
wait till the last week, and I got to be on stage for like half a second because we arrived just as they were saying
Right.
my name, and it was a mad
Dash.
John McCain like scramble to an elevator. Shoulders up.
Shuffle.
Running like you just got out of a prison camp.
Well, now that I'm
Yes.
thinking about it, I better share my link again.
Yes, AIDS is an acronym for acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It's
Yes.
it's SIDA in Spanish. Síndroma
Oh,
de
syndrome?
Immunodeficiency.
syndrome. Yeah. No. Yeah, whatever.
It would be
I
the
used-
syndrome of immune deficiency in Spanish.
but it's called SIDA. So it was just a fun thing to do, and
It's so funny.
I had only and I was really afraid to put any kind of like requests for money on my page when I've been like so hyper political the last
Hating
month,
everything else.
and seriously just alienating all of my friends and readers. But then I decided when I heard about the I don't know, I just decided to do it. I had read something and I was like, oh, you know what, it's time to kick in. Barbara's numbers looked a little anemic for a week out, and it seems like everybody had the same thought of like,
The last
let's
week.
kick that up.
Wait a
because-
minute, it's time.
Because
right.
it's really come up, yeah.
Well, and Barbara's back too. Barbara was out of town.
Yeah, and I think that had
At
to
kind
do
of
with
like
it.
peak fundraising season because she really, while being the mascots, I think really drives this and pushes
Yeah.
it forward.
And it started off, if you don't know, if you're haven't listened the last, I don't know, 4.5 years that we've been doing this, and I think this is our 5th year of walking, that she started this as an idea from hearing about the return of the AIDS Walk after its absence for many years.
true.
And she had seen this sign online and just kind of thought about the fact that, well, if she got 100 people with like all of her customers, the people that come see her show,
Contact,
the people
sure.
the people on her Facebook list that are friends, if she convinced 100 of them to each raise $100, that she would be raising $10,000 within the community.
Mm-hmm.
And she really didn't think that was much of a stretch, although many people told her that was too many.
That was a lot.
And
Sure.
she always just gets a little bit above 100. She makes it to like
I think last year was the first year that she had actually 100 walkers.
yeah, because it's usually like 112,
Yeah.
106.
Always,
It's been,
always hits the money, but had been
and has
been less.
exceeded the money every year.
Oh,
I
every
think,
year.
I think like the lowest she's ever done was like $15,000 the first year.
Yeah.
But she does it with bake sales, with drag shows, with raffles, bar to bar.
She's doing an event tonight at Stacy's called Songo, which is a way to play bingo by listening to songs, and you have to name the artist that wrote it or performed it. I forget what it is. It's a new thing there, and it's a fundraiser tonight that
Yeah,
she's doing.
so-
So she does all kinds of crazy stuff. They even did a bake sale earlier this year, a la like Winks
At the
used to do,
Cobalt.
which is actually where Aunt
How
Rita
Aunt Rita
started.
Yep.
But yeah, they did it at Cobalt for the fundraiser. I have no idea what that event raised, but she's pouring the steam on now that she's come back from Miss Gay America. She is pouring the steam onto this, and we cleared 20K today.
Yeah,
we met
I
our
saw
goal,
that.
and I don't doubt that we will be
We're at 21,240.
We're going to be near
so it's-
30 by the time we're
and,
done.
And Walgreens, if you follow that link and sponsor me, Walgreens will match all donations made online now until the walk with no cap.
That's nuts.
So I mean, so please go buy something at Walgreens and support them. 'cause that's a big deal. Because this is all local money that goes to agencies that support education, help for people living with AIDS, prevention, and all sorts of things. It's Aunt Rita's Foundation, so you can read about them and see what they do. But the money stays locally.
16 local agencies are
Yeah.
supported by this walk, and other Aunt Rita's fundraisers. But
Yeah.
by Aunt Rita's overall, there are 16 local agencies that support our local community here in Phoenix.
And they raise a
Year-round.
lot of money. It's kind of an amazing
And you know,
thing.
in fairness to them, 16, that is a lot of that's a lot of different organizations, but it's one of those things you really only hear about 3 or 4 of them. The rest of them you don't ever hear about. So I kudos to them for being the unsung heroes of this battle that we've not yet won, but they're out there just behind the scenes doing what they can, educating, supplying, caring for all the people that are affected and infected with this horrible.
Yeah, so and this doesn't go so much to research or anything like that as it goes to support within the community, people living with, and education, prevention,
Yep.
all those kind of things. So that was that was really the fun thing that I did this weekend. Was I had some time off, realized I'm not going to have like a concentrated period of time to like do the things I love, see movies, sit around, do nothing. So I just added that to the list with a lot of coffee and just had a lot of fun thanking people. And
It was I laughed every one of them.
been
It's
fun
so
to
funny. I actually picking up my shirts tonight from Barbara for the AIDS walk. She knows I'm coming. She even texted me earlier, got my sizes, so I'm going to go tonight and get those. So I'll have those. Mom gets hers, and we'll be ready to go.
and both Mama Dies are
yes, both Mama Dies are
walker,
going.
so it's
right.
always fun.
So we're meeting at the usual the Cobalt
The
at
Cobalt.
the 7 a.m. on the Sunday.
I'm not sure if I'm going to sleep in for the cure or not.
You didn't last year.
I know, but I might this year.
I don't think you did the. Did you do the walk, or did
I
you just
did do the
join
walk.
us?
I was not going to, and then like 3 drinks in, I was like, I can't
Come on!
Come on, let's do it.
If
But
I'm
I
not
have-
mistaken, last year is where one of the vodka videos came from your Facebook page.
No, that was the Pride Parade.
Oh, that was the
Pride Parade. It's easy to confuse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
but
year,
both same starting place.
yeah, this year
Vodka.
I'm determined to work myself to death. So I'm working basically 20 hours 2 days in a row, then a little short 10-hour work shift, and then it's AIDS walk after a short sleep the morning after that. So I may not physically be able to go.
And we will
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
I'll
now-
determine that Saturday night.
So Amina is telling us that it's not Swahili, it's Kiswahili, as I'm assuming. Is that how you say it? I don't know if I'm getting there
Kiswahili?
close. And I have never heard that that is that. And a lot of people can say Michelangelo. But it's a whole thing going on in the chat room.
Okay, there's
feel good
a
about
lot
it.
going on in there. And
So do you want to tell us what you did this week?
stuff here and there, things happened, yada yada. The finale of Drag Race happened, and people were pissed, and people were happy. That's normal. Who cares? But the big thing this week is we, as a company, for those of you who have some idea of what my day job is, I do Point of Sale Systems, our own gay-owned and operated point of sale company based right out of Phoenix, Arizona. And we're doing our first hotel, which is interesting. So it's a new market for us. We're doing bar and restaurant in the hotel, but we're now interfaced with all of the hotel software for at least this one, downtown Phoenix. So it's part of the, there's an area, pardon me, there's an area in downtown that there was an older hotel that had been run down over many, many years. And like Al said earlier, when our light rail came through many years ago, there were some businesses that just couldn't last. They couldn't make it with all of the construction because that took some serious time to get through. The hotel was one of them, and it just kind of fell into ruin. Was purchased by a company that has multiple hotels and properties around the world. They revamped it, built some fabulous condominiums behind it. It's all one big property, and they're about ready to open. So prepping for that has been fun. A lot of computers, a lot of printers, a lot of wiring. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
Look
so
at
that's
you go.
that. Getting ready to do that. Plus, they're training this week. They're open later in the week, test kitchen, where we're not sure if it's going to work right or not for them, but they're gonna enter orders and see what happens and
Sure.
see what prints and who knows what they're doing and who doesn't. So sure, it'll be an exciting.
That does sound exciting.
Yes, it will. And then of course, the AIDS walk coming up for the weekend. Looking forward to that. And then so many more things down the road. It feels weird to know that the election's almost over, which is good.
21 days.
Right. But
actually 20 days.
we're on the last hump on this roller coaster for 16. Like it's going to be New Year's Eve before we know it.
Right.
It's just nuts to think that already. Like, where the hell did 16 go? It went
It
seemingly
happened.
quick,
It happened.
seemingly fast.
Allegedly, there are 30-some episodes of this show from the year, so.
I can't prove it. I can't count.
So we have to everybody think about your answers, because I don't know when we're going to officially have our call, but we have to make a call on when they're going to what time the announcement
Oh,
of
they're
the
gonna call
winner
the-
will be
Ooh,
called.
Are we gonna start the
Are we doing
squares?
Are we doing local time or are we going to do East Coast time?
Local time is fine.
Local
We
time.
can convert.
No, I know, but I know if we were
On
going
a
to say
cell
they're going to know by 10 p.m. in New York.
Well,
or they're
yeah,
gonna
right,
call it-
but here in Arizona, the polls in California close at 9 p.m. California time, and they don't wait for Alaska and Hawaii. So that's
Right.
how you have to make your bets,
But
because
depending on how we're going, aren't we going to know on East Coast alone?
they won't announce no
Oh,
matter
until-
what. They'll,
No, because
until-
they want to. They don't want to
That's right.
discourage and
That's-
suppress.
they've done that
they don't care
before.
about the possible disenfranchisement of Hawaii and
Very
Alaska.
good.
They never do.
Because there are 8 electoral votes.
We're not waiting for the next day
Combined.
for this shit. Right.
Well, it's only 3 more hours, but they
Seems
won't do it
forever.
because in New York time, that's 6 hours, and that would mean they wouldn't be able to call it till like 3 o'clock in the morning. They still want to hit as close to prime time as they can.
Yeah.
So it's 9 o'clock our time, 11 o'clock, which is the top of the news, which is when they really want to hit it. So,
Oh, okay. So
like,
they can all go to live.
and one of the best ones was Clinton's 96 reelection was such a blowout that they just kept results from states. They released just enough states to make it seem
To keep you
like it was
interested.
a nail biter, and then at
Oh.
9:01 they're like, "Oh, it's over. He won."
Everybody go home.
And Obama, if the first election, they knew he won too, because you know how California is going to close, so you can call it. You know that it's going to go blue.
I won't forget where I was when for the first Obama term, when it was Brian Williams telling me the news when they came back from a commercial break, and I forget what time it was, but literally came back from a commercial break, and they were like, "And there will be children in the White House again," and boom, there we had it. And like, oh, and they literally showed him walking out. Like I was like, oh my god, look at this.
Well, after how
Beautifully real.
after how long it took
Beautifully
in 2004, everyone was expecting a more prolonged thing because we weren't obsessed over polls in 2008. Like we hadn't learned to like be this neurotic about polls. So I had the little get together for the announcement, and I had people come over at the close of polls in California. And, like, we had just barely opened the first bottle of wine, and they called it, and we're like, motherfucker!
Well,
this was
this
supposed to be a
party-
whole evening of nail
Right.
biting. And the party literally ended 5 minutes later because they announced at, I think, 10 or 8:05 California time. Like, it was literally minutes because he won North Carolina and Indiana. So they just... It was just a formality that everybody was like, well, the West Coast is blue. Like, what's... There's no
Right.
surprise.
We're not
If you
gonna
could
say-
add to 270, you had already figured out in your head. So, and this year it's going to be Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Virginia. So there may be a little bit of a wait if those states end up being close, but those are your 3 to watch. Pennsylvania,
What
Virginia.
about, I thought Florida was in this big.
Now Florida doesn't even matter. If
Oh.
if Clinton, if either one of them, if Trump wins one of those 3, he's probably going to win the whole thing. So when they call North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, if those stack up, like Hillary can lose Florida and Ohio and still win. So like that's how this map is so skewed, and it's what people aren't understanding. Like it's still the Electoral College, so you follow it across, and if he doesn't have Pennsylvania or North Carolina, then it's over for him. So that'll be the states. If they're saying, "Oh, it's a nail biter in Pennsylvania," you're like, "No, it's not. It's over." But we're gonna be watching it live.
We'll
here,
be
so-
live
so, yeah.
here in studio with color
so
commentary.
excited.
It'll be very exciting for all of us, I'm sure it will. We have a lot more to come. Believe it or not, we have a lot more to come in this show. Plenty of
killed an
time.
hour already.
Oh, yeah, we did. And we'll be right back with Al's Drinking Word right after this.
You're listening to Q Talk America.
And now, we dance.
Oh, I have to do this.
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
And now, a drink along. We dare you to stay awake during this royalty-free music and to play a drinking game with us. If you are currently or soon to be driving a car, you cannot play. If you are presently the primary caregiver for children and or the elderly, You may desperately want to play, but no. If you are listening from a rehab facility, you are disqualified because you already hit bottom. And that means you already won this game at least once.
What?
If playing this game is in any way illegal for you, put the bottle down and make better life choices. There is no good in your goodbye, and there is no lifeguard on duty, so you will be swimming at your own risk. Tell your lawyer to take the fucking day off. You can't sue us. We warned you. Good luck.
Well, just from reading in the, because I can't think of the word that I had planned, we're going to go with Buana.
What's Buana?
It means Lord, so it can mean boss depending on the circumstance.
Oh.
We're going to use it as Lord or Christ, depending on your religion.
Well, what was our? Was it last?
It was Commander.
Commander.
And I had a lady version of Commander all picked out, and I can't remember what it was because I forgot to write
Madam
it down.
Presidente. I don't know.
We just use Madam President
Yeah.
from now until.
And is it okay if we say this now? I think you can. The next president, President Hillary Clinton.
Oh, you watched SNL this week.
So, Miss Clinton, what do you think? I think I won the campaign.
I think I just
How,
won.
won the presidency, whatever she said on SNL. All right. Well, I think you all have. I think at least maybe Kat has a couple headlines. I'm not really sure, but we'll figure this out.
I do indeed.
She does. Here we go. Headlines on a seems like a Tuesday. It looks like a Tuesday. Here we go. Headlines Tuesday.
Feels like a Tuesday.
No groping jokes.
Oh
no.
shit. Go ahead.
Duck, duck, goose.
Where's my headlines? You can actually be in a tank for a candidate.
Don't overshare, part 1.
Dad, I need a ride to the interview.
You guessed it. Don't overshare, part 2.
Man saves dog from make-believe fire.
One ship at sea.
Clumsy man kills 4 TVs.
And Silent Bob.
And shark surprises man by getting inside the shark cage. These and other stories coming up.
I saw that one.
Oh my God! But did you watch the video?
I did watch that video.
Oh my God!
And I said, "Oh, go fuck yourself."
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But I have a meme for it, so we'll get there.
Yes, I love memes.
Well, now there's a new way to be in the tank for both candidates. That would be the old Donald or the Hillary, depending on which way you're going to go with this. In an attempt to dream fulfillment for jaded Americans, a company called Drive a Tank is offering tank rides where customers can crush mannequins of their favorite candidate or least favorite candidate, depending on how you look at it. Drive a Tank is located in Kasola, Minnesota. That's Kasola. Normally, they offer people a chance to demolish an old car with a tank, and it costs a whole $649. Cheese and rice. It doesn't cost that much to fire up a tank.
Is this at all sponsored by Michael Dukakis for president?
It could be. I can see him. But
He's the one that went on
No.
the tank ride when he was
Yeah.
campaigning.
so normally it costs $649, but for an additional $249, you can throw a Clinton or Trump mannequin in the car you're going to run over. If you can't choose between them, you can run over both for a lovely $400. Drive a tank
I
owner.
like that there's a discount for both, or is it $400 additional dollars?
I don't write these stories. So basically, here's a picture. It starts out, here's the car with both candidates in the car, and there's a tank behind it.
so lifelike.
They look at the Trump when they're oddly on the right of the picture.
He looks very surprised.
He's look a little surprised out there.
He's really on the left.
So,
Looks like he's being
I understand
goosed.
that, but if you look at the picture,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha. I'm well aware. So there's Hillary in her car. She got that one. Apparently Trump had a red car because a red car would be for the Republicans. Or we got him here, just getting close, just almost got him. Pretty close there.
So violent.
Drive a Tank owner Tony Berglum created the Candidate package. He believes that many Americans are dissatisfied by both Trump and Clinton. Quote, our candidates this election are both duds, he said in a press release. This is our way of letting people have some fun and express their displeasure by pressing some dummies dressed like the candidates. We're pretty sure someone's feelings are going to get hurt over this, but okay, they're only dummies.
You're crushing them in effigy. It's a different way of burning someone in effigy.
Oh, God.
But I'm sure that would if you have one of those stressful days and you have $600
Sure.
and however many dollars,
Right.
like, yeah, give me a tank and a car. Let's fucking do it. You know what I mean? I could see where that could work out some aggressions. I'm reminded of Harold and Maude when they go to watch the building getting torn down, and that does have a certain.
Now, I'm the
appeal.
one who looks at this picture and realizes how bad a shape is that Cadillac actually in? Can I save it? That's what I keep thinking.
I know. I can feel you trying to drive it home.
I like that you're a fixer.
I am. I care.
I don't like that national politics is driving people to violence. I also don't like. We're gonna do my headlines out of order because I feel like this one just goes back to back.
You just tell me what picture you need, honey.
None right now, thank you.
Okay.
In any event, speaking of running shit over based on the election, police say that a Cape Coral man recorded a video of himself intentionally destroying a Donald Trump sign and then posted the video on social media.
Probably not a good idea.
And then got in trouble.
Oh!
That's right. Don't overshare part 1.
Yeah.
A 4-foot by 8-foot sign valued at $275 was found destroyed on Sunday. The victim later found that a 36-year-old man posted a video on his Facebook page that appears to show him intentionally driving off the road and running over the sign. Cape Coral police located the perpetrator at his home and charged him with criminal mischief.
Oh!
Juana,
That's
I
right.
love it.
It's the second incident, as it turns out, involving Trump signs in Cape Coral, Florida in recent days. And other Trump campaign signs have been found recently painted with swastikas. Cape Coral, not a big fan of the Trump. But don't share the shit you do on Facebook.
Yeah, just enjoy it privately. Private
Right.
moment.
Criminal mischief.
But that's got everything we love here. It's got Florida. It's got cars running over things. It's got an anti-Trump
got
message.
all the things.
It's got all.
Hoping there was a meme so I could show you, but I can't just yet. We're, by the way, working on the video.
And,
thing. Lots going on.
Very busy.
Sad news out of North Carolina was the firebombing of the RNC, the Republican National Committee office.
Yeah, and I think I saw today there was another one that was vandalized. Stand by.
I was hoping that.
Well, there was a Democratic office that was vandalized, but not
Right,
to the
not
extent,
firebombed.
not firebombed.
They were tagged.
But there
with-
was an immediate
with graffiti.
Kickstarter page to raise money to open up the to get the opened and ready to go.
I think
and
they
they did it in a day. It reopened today.
Good.
The Kickstarter, if I'm not mistaken, was a $10,000 in 40 minutes.
Yeah,
40 minutes. They did
raised the money.
$13,000.
So it's very nice to know that people can work together for the
Yeah.
common cause of like firebombing something doesn't help democracy.
No.
It's the exact opposite of the peaceful transfer of power that we pride ourselves
We
on.
pride
in this
ourselves on
nation.
doing. Every,
Yeah,
And
I
so
did,
the
I
fact
did
that-
see another one in Indiana. It looks like Delaware County, Indiana. The Republican Party said vandals struck their office and threw bricks through the window.
Is there an update by any chance on that story? That did they got any leads on who done it?
The bombing or the bricking?
Let's go with the firebombing, since that was the first that I heard of. I don't know if they found anything out of it. I haven't been able to watch Rachel Maddow yet tonight to find out what he says about it.
Oh, and I forgot to tape it too, so I got to watch
I've got
it at
it.
1 a.m.
I've got it. We can go watch it as soon as. No, I have to get my shirts. Sorry.
So
Very
I
busy,
mean,
very busy.
I enjoy Rachel.
But I just thought it was a good sign that
It was.
people from both sides of the
I
aisle
don't
and
see
that they
any
raised
updates.
the money. They raised the money in, like you said, in 40 minutes to get that office up
Back
and
up.
running in North Carolina.
And
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong on this, but I thought I heard that it actually was people on the Democratic
It
side
was.
that started that.
it was the
started the
the
GoFundMe,
DNC local office
That's
said this
cool.
is not the way to hold a fair election. We don't agree
Right.
with this. We're going to start a Kickstarter to have them up and running ASAP. The
Because-
Kickstarter took seconds.
Those of us that are in politics.
Yeah.
Now we have to be careful on this show because we are such a fair and balanced show. We have to make sure that whoever is opposing you gets their time.
That'll be very exciting. I'm pretty sure that Bill Gates is not going to come on this show.
We gotta reach out to him.
I'd love to. I will. I'll reach out on his page.
Fuck it. We can be unfair and unbalanced. I don't care.
No, I'm going to reach out to him and be like, hey, so I see that we're...
I see you're running as well.
I see what you're... I see you're also running
One of us less
for
formal than
county
the other.
supervisor.
Ask Kenny Karen about it.
No, but you know what, folks? That's not how this works. That's not how any of
This
this
works.
works.
Yeah. Which we have an
You
acronym
can't.
for.
You can't. That's true. We do have a hashtag for that. TNHTW. TNHATW.
It just makes it so much easier to remember if you have an acronym.
I can't pronounce that acronym, but we have it. We have it. But seriously, politics is not
Come on,
supposed to go
that
this
too.
way. I like that you tried to pronounce.
It's kind of fun to have
Oh,
it.
don't think I don't sit there with my
Oh.
copy and try to say that 17-character acronym I've come up with.
Is that what's the one from Book of Mormon? Is that what is the saying?
Does it mean no worries for the rest of our
No,
days?
what's the saying?
Pasadena evil
Evil
wife.
wife.
That's all.
Pasadena
Evil wife.
Fuck you. Wanna.
Yes. Very nice.
I used it in song. Double
Very
point.
mixed
Ooh.
message. But no,
Very mixed message.
we got to look at the message calendar. At this
Yeah,
campaign,
exactly.
'cause I think we're off message a little bit.
A little bit.
With the chat room or our messages?
No, my political campaign. I'm
Oh.
using this as a.
I feel you're a
It's a
late
stump.
bloomer in the campaign season. I don't see any signs. Vote for Cat.
You know what?
don't need
I
them.
feel like it's the eBay strategy. You wait till the last minute.
Oh,
you
and then
just
bid,
And
bid,
flood
bid,
the
bid,
market.
bid.
Flood the market.
flood the
Got it.
market.
That's how I made it to number 5 on the fundraising team.
That's true, and I'm
I think
lowly
maybe
number
that-
3. I've been at this for months.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be your slogan. Cat Carlson, flood the market.
Waits to the last minute and then floods the basement. Oh wait, that's the wrong metaphor.
Is your candidate always antagonizing you all season long about who's going to get your vote? Well, don't worry about this. Cat Carlson comes in at the last minute
Yeah.
and berates
Floods
you
the
for a
market.
week.
Her smear campaign doesn't start till like 2 weeks prior.
Listen, I'm very busy. I have a lot of other projects happening. I only have 3 weeks to devote to this. Get in, get out, get it done.
And then are you right back to book fairs? I don't know.
right back to book fairs. Yeah, that's what's happening.
And I have to say, I am an election junkie. I live for them. I love them. Even I'm like, end this fucker. You know what I mean? Get the spear and put it through
Can
his
we-
neck.
I mailed my ballot today, and I'm like, you know what? I literally feel lighter.
Yeah.
I feel better.
If I
Isn't that weird?
If
Like,
I get up at
wrote
the right
my thing, I
yeah.
put it in the mailbox, and
I'll try to vote. I'll get mine tomorrow. I've got it
my
filled out
part-
mostly.
My part is done. Whatever happens, I've done everything that I possibly can. I mean, no, I haven't done everything that I possibly can. I have not gone door to door. I haven't
Yeah.
done any phone banking.
Harrison, thank you for documenting when I store it on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's good to
I've
know.
literally done the minimum that any human being should do in an election, but I already feel better for having done.
I
my
donated
small part.
what I consider a large amount of money from me to the Hillary.
Oh, very nice.
Once to the Arizona DNC, and then the rest was to Hillary. Every time they sent something, I was like, oh, fuck it.
And here's what I wonder. Now, I love her.
With that kind of
you.
enthusiasm.
I love
fuck
her.
it.
I love her dearly. I'm with her. I'm all about her. I love pantsuits. In fact, I might start wearing my own pantsuits before too long. We're not
Can
sure.
we?
Yeah,
Wouldn't it be
I feel there's a Buana style camel toe coming out of that one.
I believe when men wear
I'm
them,
gonna
though,
buy
they
them
just
in
call them
large.
suits. Wait a minute.
No, but my question is, if you donated early on in the campaign, right? Because I signed
Sure.
on early on. I donated then.
Right?
And I knew that I was signing up. I was in an email list. There's no getting out of that.
You're
Now,
OG, right?
so my question is, if you is the amount of email that you get directly proportionate to how little you donate further into the campaign?
No.
No, everyone gets all the
Like
same
if you
emails.
keep donating, let's just use a $10 donation. I don't
Sure.
a $10. If you donate 10 here, like every few weeks, just donate $10, whatever. Does it slow down?
No.
No.
Really?
That's
gets
actually
worse.
kind of what they're counting on. They're actually kind of
Because
counting
I'm
on
getting
you
because I have been
continuing to
some of the
contribute.
emails. I have been one of their best supporters.
Yeah.
But I donated one time 10 months ago.
Oh, I donated for tickets to Hamilton twice. I donated for dinner with Hillary a couple times. I donated.
the latest
for,
one was to go to Vegas to see tomorrow night's debate.
Yeah, I mean it's always
I
something.
do
and
not
they-
want to go to that.
No,
I barely want to watch that.
no. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to not watch it, which I want to, but
You'll probably be happier
we'll see.
as a person.
But but it's
That last one was
it
rough
was so
times.
hard to watch.
I'm getting so many emails, and I'm like, everybody's on there. Everybody, I don't know, Chelsea's boyfriend, people that know Chelsea in high school, they're all sending me fucking emails.
Although I do enjoy when Cory Booker emails me. I'm still
I
his
don't-
biggest fan.
Oh yeah, I get the Corys.
Do you get the Corys?
I don't know that I've received a Cory.
Wanna he hot? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm gonna have to go through my email. Maybe I've received a Cory and I didn't realize I received a Cory.
Oh, Corey's very inspirational.
And unsubscribe. I'm not sure
He's
if
a lot
he,
like Taylor the Latte Boy.
very.
I love you, Taylor.
Yeah, so there's only 20 more days of that shit going on too.
Right.
Well, then
'Cause
I don't
I
feel
think
bad.
we're at the point now where they're gonna call it. Like there was a brief time where I thought, oh, this is gonna drag out. Like this is gonna be one of those things where you're not sure the election's over till the lawyers book their vacations.
Right. Well, and there's
Jenny's trying to put me in a white pantsuit. Nice,
Wool.
a nice wool. It doesn't get that cold in Arizona.
Jenny. Where do you think we
I
live?
might go for a night polyester that doesn't crinkle.
That would
learn
be
from my
delightful.
mistakes. Don't use linen. It doesn't breathe. You end up sweating to death in a church.
But a white
First of
pantsuit
all, I
with
don't
a
go to
black
church.
blouse underneath.
Oh, but wait, now Harrison. Oh yeah, Jenny with the deep V-neck. Oh, we're getting there. Come on,
Yeah.
I
somebody
love that
dig
you're,
up.
that you're imagining his pantsuit. I'm kind of horrified.
Again, when men wear them, they just call them suits. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Oh, but I want mine to have a longer jacket. Like the 80s.
I would say, like on the West Wing, it's 2001 and your jacket goes to your knees.
As God intended. Milli Vanilli was a thing.
Oh, I enjoyed
Well, that whole
too.
zoot suit feel it kept coming back. Did you notice that?
I get a chain and I can just spin the watch.
Jesus, that thing just wouldn't die. That horrible thing.
Zoot suit
that makes
riot.
everyone's hips look gigantic. It's not slimming to anyone.
I may still have a very
I still have
pinstripe
a.
suit.
I actually still have a horrible memory of seeing Donna Summer at the Celebrity Theater where
Yeah,
she
and those
wore that
long fucking
and
coats.
that red coat and she looked like Jiminy Cricket. It was
Yeah,
bad.
because it split.
Yeah, it
um,
was
No
bad.
good.
it allowed for breathing.
However, that is my favorite. That has to be one of my favorite Donna Summer concerts. The irony is, I loved it and hated it because that's when she made some comment on stage, and I screamed out, "Because you're."
Because you're Donna fucking Summer.
I
is that
think
what
I
you
said you're Donna fucking Summer, and she just went.
I love
No,
that
I know.
all of our favorite people have the same middle name. Isn't that weird?
Fucking-
I know.
Very busy.
Everyone's like,
Are you done with whatever story you
That
were
was
doing?
literally the end of my story.
Good.
No,
I'm going on.
on
Moving
my
on.
first story, yeah.
In a story about a Florida woman with overprocessed hair,
What?
a Florida woman accused of robbing a bank may have gotten her father involved in the crime without him actually knowing. Chelsea Wilson, pictured, was arrested Friday morning after she allegedly robbed a TD Bank in Fort Lauderdale on Thursday afternoon. Now, according to the story, police said Wilson's father told them he drove her to the bank because she told him she was going for a job interview, according to the Florida Sun Sentinel. Sometime between leaving the car and going to the job interview, the 24-year-old suspect covered her blonde locks with a red wig and hat and put on sunglasses, according to a complaint obtained by Local10.com. Wilson allegedly entered the bank shortly before 4 p.m., handed the teller a handwritten note demanding money. And she says, quote, it says, "You have exactly 1 minute to give me all of your $50 and $100 bills from both your drawers or I will shoot you. No die packs, no alarms. Nothing follows. No alarms follow these instructions and no one will get hurt. Act normal." Wilson made off with $300 and exited the bank parking lot in an
why are
SUV.
they afraid of the 20s? I always ask.
Well, at least in this one, there's usually an undisclosed amount of money.
Yeah.
Wilson made off for $300 and exited the bank parking lot in an SUV that FBI agents later determined was registered to her father. Wilson's father said he thought the cash his daughter had was in advance on the job she was interviewing for.
So supportive, but not the brightest bulb.
A
I
witness.
feel like I've sold that lie before.
Juana, what have I done? This
A
would be
witness
sad.
reported Wilson after recognizing her as someone wanted in connection with 4 other recent robberies, according to the Palm Beach Post. Wilson admitted to committing all 5 robberies, and she said that she spent the money collected, obviously not on hair repair.
Yeah, I was just going to say, not her real hair color.
She spent the money collected for the most recent heist on groceries. Jail records
that's
show
sad,
that Wilson is currently behind bars in Broward County Jail, and at this time, there is no lawyer on file.
Well, at least she gets 3 hots and a cot, so she doesn't have to go steal a loaf of bread
And
and
hopefully-
Les Miserables
hopefully-
Yeah, she didn't have to do
What I'm
with
hoping-
Jean
on her way
Valjean
out.
as the driver.
I'm hoping maybe haircut day is coming soon too, because she needs a conditioner. I think a little hot oil treatment might be fine for her.
Yeah, it might be time. Pack that shit in Wesson oil and wear a cap for a couple days.
Well, funny you should mention this story because speaking of bad decisions in Florida,
There are so many. The penis of America.
Yeah.
well, in Seminole County, a Seminole County woman is facing child neglect charges after deputies say she let a 7-year-old boy drive a vehicle and then, you guessed it, posted a video to social media.
Oh my gosh!
That's right, we're at Don't Overshare Part 2.
Dose.
Yeah.
Part 2. This
Part
time,
Juana, what
it's
is going
personal.
on?
Part duh.
Quaniqua Glen.
Is that her real name?
Yep.
Klaniqua?
Quaniqua.
Oh, Quaniqua.
K-W-A.
Oh, the traditional spelling.
Yeah, the traditional spelling.
Quaniqua Glen.
I can't even
Glenn
tell you how
being
many
her
laughs
last
a day
name.
I get out of traditional spelling.
Traditional spelling. I have to find
All
it.
day long.
Oh
All day
my
long.
God.
Is accused of video recording the boy driving while she was in the passenger seat. The Seminole County Sheriff's Office was alerted to the video on social media by a school resource officer who saw it and recognized the child as a student at the school to which he was assigned. Wrong place, wrong time. Sad face.
Yeah.
They said she met the boy at his bus stop, told him to get behind the wheel and drive through the neighborhood.
Spell that name again. K-W.
K-W-A-N-I-Q-U-A.
A. Q-U-A. I was spelling it wrong. My bad.
The traditional spelling.
We told you.
I know, but I'm not good at spelling. Here's what I wanted.
You wanted to see what she looked
Oh,
like.
I think it's only fair to our viewer
Thank you, viewer.
that we show
Thank
we
you,
show
viewer.
them spatula. What's her
Viewer,
name?
we'll wait while you go to the bathroom.
Investigators
Okay,
think
this
the
is
driving incident.
Klaniqua.
Juan-
She's
Juaniqua.
lovely.
She is.
She could
Look at
smile
it.
more.
She's got a red highlight going over that ear. Look at that.
Yeah.
Something.
She seems nice.
It might be an extension. I'm not sure. A weave. Who knows? Anyway,
Don't
there's-
touch it.
there's Clinique.
Investigators think that the driving incident happened somewhere around September 20th. And based on viewing the videos, this is my favorite part of the article. Based on viewing the videos, deputies estimate that the boy drove for about 0.3 to 0.4 of a mile at an average speed of about 29 miles per hour.
Oh, that's faster than I drive.
during one 0.2 of a mile stretch. Listen, one of these deputies liked their high school algebra class
I
a
guess.
little too much.
Was there a protractor
A
involved?
7-year-old gets in the car at point A,
Right.
Right.
And drives 29
I'm
miles an
pretty sure
hour.
and the camera turned
Right.
off at point B.
There was a protractor. There was a stopwatch. There was a Pythagorean theorem in there somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
and an unfolded
I'm a big
map
fan of Pythagoras.
that he
Don't
found
get
in
me
his
Yes,
started.
you are.
glove box.
In any event, no property was damaged. No one was injured. Unfortunately, Juaniqua was arrested, charged with child neglect, and then she bonded out of jail late Thursday night.
Wow.
Now, perhaps I missed it.
Let's-
Was it just like this is a fun thing to do, or she needed a ride somewhere? Like, what was her
Teach you
motivation?
This particular article did not speculate as to motive.
Okay, because I always say that children should be your designated driver, so maybe she was making a good
I
life
agree.
choice. Like,
I have several friends who have teenage children that I keep looking at them going,
Let them drive.
designated
nated
driver.
Yep.
Give this kid the keys, make her pick us all up, drop us off at the bar, wait 4 hours, pick us back up, take us all back home. This should be a rite of passage.
Nobody gets hurt.
Right. No one gets hurt. Kids get driving experience.
Right.
Drunk moms get where they need to be.
Right.
And we all have life stories to go on about.
Simplicity.
One time when I was 13, family was loaded, and
Yeah.
I drove the family truckster.
Well, I prefer them to be legal drivers.
Whoa. Oh, see.
I know.
No, I
was
did not.
6
Juana, why are you throwing these obstacles in my way?
Damn it.
But I
I
have
can
like
reach the pedals.
I have 4 friends with like 16-year-old children.
I know.
Oh,
Get
that's
these
there
kids-
you are.
yeah.
That's it.
And
Get these kids
we've
behind
all
a
heard my
wheel.
kids v pets argument that you have to have
Tell us
kids
again.
because they can be taught to dust,
Sure.
and then eventually they become your designated drivers, and they live longer than pets. So really, it's a clear. There's no argument for the
Clear
pet.
winner.
They can
Clear
go
winner.
get milk and groceries if you need it. They can
A
run
pack of
errands.
smokes,
Container
yeah.
of milk, loaf of bread, stick of butter.
They can go buy Buddy a fan so that all the marijuana smell blows away from him
Exactly. They can learn to brew coffee at a young
Oh my
age.
at a
gosh.
young age.
Wait.
Oh, I found that strong button on mine. Been awake for 2 days. I have been awake for 2 days.
Look at the good I do.
I just had $1 million idea. This is how we're gonna retire.
This will be our last show, ladies and gentlemen. We're
we're
gonna,
we're gonna develop a backpack Beyonce fan to blow all of the marijuana smoke away from Buddy Early's head,
Oh, and then he'll vote for it.
and then he'll vote for it. And then we're gonna open
what if
up.
somebody smokes pot behind him?
Damn it!
You have a fallible theory there, girl.
God,
Oh,
Almost. I was almost home. Mrs.
degrees
Garrett.
180 to 360 were just not part of the protractor Pythagoras theorem. What's that word?
Yeah, what was that? Pythagoras?
Pythagorean theorem. Yes. Pythagoras was the
What?
name of
I
the man
don't-
who came up with.
Last week I couldn't
PT.
remember anybody's name.
But what if we get
Fine.
one of those? What if we get one of those circly Dyson fans and then we just stick it over his head like a necklace?
Oh, that is like a collar.
It just
I like
blows
that.
out.
No, I like that because it just goes up.
It's all. It's a perimeter. Then
Sure. It's almost like the collar of shame.
I'm gonna write this down.
Okay. Cat
Here,
Carl,
look.
ladies and gentlemen, Cat Carlson is currently writing.
There's Buddy Early.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look, it's a picture.
Oh, he's upset.
Oh, Buddy's a
You
man.
know why? Because there's bad smoke coming to his nose.
I would like you to show our viewer what you've drawn.
I don't know if
I
it'll
hope Buddy's
focus.
still listening or watching because that would be
But then,
what happens.
or we could have Buddy Early smiling
Oh, that's odd.
because there's smoke all around.
Does
but
he have a
he's-
picture of beer in his hand?
But he's wearing a magical collar with wings.
Magical. Let's see what this looks like
I
in
don't
the
know
old.
if our viewers can see it.
Let's see. Hang on. Oh,
Let's see. Oh,
Okay, that's Buddy,
there's
and those
sad-
are the
sad
vapors.
Buddy.
That's Sad Buddy with vapors.
And then there's.
He's been dieting. Look at that.
Let's go the other way.
What's this?
Oh,
Oh, Happy
there's
Buddy.
Happy Buddy wearing.
Oh, look at that. Buddy,
Wearing the collar.
the magical
air.
collar. Magical collar. I like it. Look how happy he looks. That's Buddy. It's a shame Al wasn't here to see any of that. We just did a lovely reenactment of stick figures as Buddy Early.
I just ripped my nipple off with a door, so.
That wasn't planned, was it?
No.
Is there something I need to know about?
One of my blood-soaked T-shirt hurts.
Oh my goodness.
Get some Coke and stop the bleeding.
I don't know if it works anywhere but up the nose. For the bleeding, I mean.
I know. Is there a medical resource we can go to?
Yeah, I know.
I think that's important information. I had an 8-ball on my nipple and it just wouldn't stop bleeding.
Exactly. Well, it'll go numb.
Yeah, sure you will.
Next caller.
Next caller. Well, Al, this is in your neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not really, but in the same state. A man in upstate New York bravely broke into his neighbor's blazing home to save their trapped dog this past Thursday afternoon.
Oh my God.
Michael
work.
Orchard fled the burning property in Half Moon near Albany,
Oh, that's definitely upstate.
where the bewildered pup and he tenderly cradled it in his arms while resting on the front lawn. Or at least that's what the 43-year-old man thought had happened. When state troopers arrived, they said Orchard was actually tripping out on a potent mixture of LSD and cough syrup. There was no fire.
Yeah, but don't legalize pot because of the smell.
The entire house fire scenario was actually just a result of massive hallucinations. Quote, he believed that the residence was on fire and he was rescuing the dog, Trooper Mark Cipeel told the local news channel. Orchard reportedly began tripping earlier in the day after taking cough medicine laced with LSD. Thinking that his neighbor's home was on fire, he initially pounded on the residents' doors in a desperate attempt to alert them. But when they didn't react, he allegedly plowed his BMW sedan through the neighbor's fence, broke into the home via the back door, and grabbed the dog.
Oh, at least it was a dog. I thought
Oh
I was
my
wondering
God.
what you were going to say. He was cradling in his arms.
I was concerned. Was
Earlier
it an
in
ear
the
of
story, I
corn?
said he was sitting on the lawn cradling a dog. Sorry.
Cool.
Police arrested
I was
Orchard.
afraid it was going to turn out to not be a dog.
Police arrested Orchard and charged him with third-degree criminal mischief.
Yes!
Second,
I'm sorry,
today.
you drove through a fence,
Second-
broke in, and got. That's it?
and second-degree burglary.
Oh, okay.
That makes a lot more sense.
CPL said that Orchard won't face drug charges, however, as he didn't drive on the road and was found not carrying any illegal substances because he'd taken them all. Troopers described Orchard as, quote, very cooperative following his detention. He was arraigned in Half Moon Court and remanded to Saratoga County Jail on $15,000 bail. The dog was uninjured in the incident.
And okay, I got to tell you, the first time that I heard about this whole purple drank and all this shit with the
Robitussin.
Robitussin, and I'm like, this is what happened in the 80s. This is why the 80s was so horrible with that Just Say No phase
Dare.
and that horrible episode of 90210 where they had an intervention for somebody
so
who had
excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
They were not
I'm so scared.
Saved by the Bell.
Never saw
She's
it.
reenacting the Saved by
It
the
was a
Bell.
dramatic reenactment
Yeah.
of Jessie Spano freaking out because she was high on caffeine pills.
On no
and
dose.
Zach Morris had the intervention in her room. He climbed through the window and he was like, "Oh my God, Jessie, what are you doing? You have to stop."
I've been awake for 3 days.
That's exactly what happened. And she was just dancing her ass off.
I'm dancing as fast as I can. And I'm like, give the kid a rum and coke and a joint and tell her to shut the fuck up.
Is
Like,
that why she did that horrible movie
oh,
years later?
Showgirls?
Showgirls?
No.
Because she...
But she is very funny in First Wives Club.
Yes. Yes, she is.
Not that there's not there any
That's the
funny part.
third time that's come. I have to watch that.
Oh, my gosh.
It's the third time that's
Couldn't
come
they
out
have
this
picked
week.
something bigger than caffeine pills, parent pills?
No, because it was a very special episode of Saved by the Bell. It was in that time when you
And it
didn't
crossed
actually,
all barriers, and eventually
Yeah.
you heard about it and had to like seek it out.
Okay. I have not
And it
seen
took a long time because
I've-
of there was no YouTube or Google or anything like that. You literally had to wait to see it in
Had to
reruns.
wait for it
Yeah.
to-
I'm,
like,
I
come
feel like
on
I'm
CBS.
gonna have to, actually I'm gonna write it down. Saved by Bell. I hope I don't
I'm so
think-
excited.
I
Yeah,
hope I
just
don't-
write down. I'm so excited, and it'll come
Yeah.
up. You'll see the clip.
Caffeine.
It's on YouTube.
I'm
SBTB.
so- on NBC.
SBTV
I'm so excited.
ISE.
Got it. MOUSE.
But it really went wrong when people like just don't make them drink Robitussin and 7-Up. Just give them a fucking rum and Coke and tell them to be real. Because by the time they get to college and they've not had any real liquor, they end up like binge drinking their way like almost to death.
Right.
And now there's the thing, because I guess they made no-dos a bad thing from the Saved by the Bell
From
episode.
Saved by the Bell, yeah.
So now there's these kids on campuses that are on Ritalin, and what's the one like Ritalin? Adderall. They're taking Adderall to like zoom their way through classes, and like they have this like shocking story about these kids taking medication so they can write the papers faster. So I'm like, yeah, we did it with no-dos back in the 80s, but I guess somebody decided that was a bad idea. Like, it's been going on for years. We've just changed the subject when you realize that you physically couldn't drink another cup of coffee because you were going to throw up or have a GI bleed.
Right.
That somebody was like,
because there was a hole in your stomach, like you could literally see.
But you
through
can
the skin
stop
into
the
your
bleeding with
intestines.
cocaine,
Yeah.
apparently. I didn't realize how many uses of cocaine there were.
That's fantastic information.
so it's just.
I got to use my favorite line the other day. Saturday night at the bar, I stopped in very late. A guy that I had not seen in years who looks phenomenal. He looks fantastic. And he's one of those people that never pursued it, but he has the voice, like that golden voice. Like when he talks, you just hear, oh, it's a beautiful voice. Good looking kid. And he's like, hi, I haven't seen you, blah, blah. He goes, oh my God. He goes, can you help us? Can you help us? I'm like, what do you need? What's going on?
Is there a lawnmower in trouble?
Right. Is there a vacuum that needs to be fixed?
Timmy, the lawnmower's not working.
Right. So he's like, do you know where we can score some Coke? And I'm like, again, look at me. Does this look like the body of somebody who knows where the Coke is? No. Can't help you. Don't have any idea. Got to go somewhere else for this. Oh, okay. Well, good to see you. Because they were all just wired up, It's kind of funny. But again, I'm like, do not come to me. Why am I the go-to guy for this? Go to all the skinny people with dilated eyes.
Because you're the guy that knows things.
Not the fat guy who hates people.
You're Tyrion Lannister. You drink and you know things.
Who?
They've gone all Game of Thrones on
It's
here,
a
so
Game of
I don't know
Thrones
anything
thing.
about it.
I drink and I know things. That is me.
Oh.
I'm slightly taller.
Yeah. That,
The little guy?
Little guy.
Pseudo-aquantroplastic dwarf.
The one that they call Munch Munch on Game of Thrones. And everyone begs him to stop saying that, and he's taking it from Munchkin to Munch Munch. It's not getting better. It's still fucking funny.
Munch Munch.
You just feel like a horrible person when you laugh at those jokes.
I feel like it's a story for one of you two.
I feel like. Do you have a story?
What's 20 feet long and has 9 teeth? A line of people waiting to enter a Trump rally.
Oh my God, we have reached that.
Story of the night. I'll write that down.
It's not really news, but I thought I'd share it.
9 teeth line rally. I'm gonna write that down there. Okay. Cat Carlson.
Speaking of not a lot of teeth, these are tough times,
They are.
Yeah.
stressful times.
Sell it, Juana.
Maybe you're finding yourself in need of some emotional support.
Oh, who isn't?
Maybe just a little somebody to just be there next to you, make you feel loved, make you feel better. Well, let me tell you, my friend Daniel the Duck fits the bill.
Oh, Marnie.
Fits the bill.
I did not write this at all. North Carolina author Mark Essig, who is famous for writing, what was that Tail to Snout book? I Googled him. Lesser Beasts, a snout-to-tail history of the humble pig, is what comes up when you Google Mark Essig.
Is there a proud pig somewhere? This is a humble pig.
This is a humble pig. I don't know about the proud
Can
pigs.
be baked
but
into a humble pie.
This is a humble pig. Anyway, that's his top Google result. Mm-hmm. Mark Essig. But he was on a flight from Charlotte to Asheville on Sunday when he met another passenger's companion, an emotional support duck named Daniel.
And you can't ask?
Picture of Daniel.
Can't ask?
There's a picture of Daniel. Look at him.
There's
I love his
Daniel.
little chucks he's wearing there.
Turns out he's an Indian runner. That's not a racial slur. That's his breed. It's an Indonesian breed.
Indian runner.
Oh.
I've never heard of that as a duck
Had
breed.
no idea. No idea. He's a certified emotional support duck. 4 years old. He wears a Captain America diaper.
Oh, it's full of duck shit.
It's full of duck shit.
Well, thank God it is, and not the airplane.
It's true, because they probably pee everywhere, too.
That's right. A young woman in her 20s is the companion to Daniel the duck here. Daniel the support duck.
According to this picture, he's the only one paying attention during the pre-flight announcements.
Well, he's in one of those little pet stroller things.
That's fantastic.
And Mark Essig sent out a tweet that said, I peeked in expecting to see a dog, and there was a duck. I said hello.
Affleck.
His stroller had a little sign that said, my first flight.
Oh,
Daniel
that's cute.
walked onto the plane on a leash wearing Captain America diaper and red shoes to protect his poor little webbed feet.
Okay, we're going to show the red shoes again. They're so cute. Look at those little red shoes.
Oh, are those shoes?
Well, yes. Do you see many ducks that have feet like that?
I don't see a lot of ducks.
Walk the canal more.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm curious.
How do you get those on? And why?
You just put them on.
You just
So
slip
his
his
feet-
little webby feet
So
in
his
there.
feet don't get hot on the hot pavement and stuff.
Oh,
like
okay.
dogs.
All right. I just needed a reason.
Okay, there's that.
In case you were wondering, prior to the flight, Daniel the duck lunched on chicken fries from Burger King, which seemed to be on the verge of cannibalism.
Yeah.
That really is a little odd.
You are right next door.
Once the flight took off, Daniel walked down the aisles, occasionally
Oh, here
giving
he
his
is.
owner a peck on the mouth.
He's walking down the aisle right there.
There he
Look at
is,
him go.
pecking at people. One of his favorite things to do, watch out the window as the
This-
clouds went by, perhaps dreaming of flying one day.
So my thought is when he sees this, he's like, fuck you people.
Duck be tripping.
Fuck them all. Guess who's getting there first?
So I have two things here.
Really? That's all.
Is there a
One.
sauce that goes with this story?
One, at some
Orange.
point, and I noticed that he's not listening live tonight, but Joe, I want you to chime in. Do you have diapers and shoes for your ducks?
In some way to
And-
yentle his wings like breasts on a girl that wants to be a boy.
Have you attempted to register them as support animals yet?
I'm trying desperately to do a Donald Duck voice right now and sing, Papa, can you hear me?
Oh my god, I would love that.
I don't know
I wish
if
I had known.
Oh,
Papa,
like
watch me fly. I can't. They tied my wings down. They've literally tied my wings down.
Thing number 2.
Can you hear me?
I'm trying to think of a stranger and yet more adorable service pet to acquire and register now. This
I'm
is
terrified of ducks, though. So if I'd
Yeah.
been on that plane, I'd been like, land
Why?
this bird. They bite. I was bit by
they
a duck
do
once.
bite, yeah. Geese are worse. Geese are
Oh,
fucking
but geese are
mean.
angry.
Filthy
You know what
animals.
they are? They're just bigger, angrier ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And they shit
They're
on
the coked out duck.
everything.
Oh, I know.
Oh, my
after the
God.
untimely and biannual demise of my political career,
Annual start and finish.
All in 1 month.
Yeah.
sure,
I'm sorry. It does straddle 2 months.
Less than a menstrual cycle.
yeah.
Well, last week we were
Wait,
one.
let me pull up my
Yeah.
calendar. That
last
may be
week,
true.
last week we were one menstrual cycle away from the election.
Cumulative.
Very true.
Yeah. Cumulative.
In
oh
any
my
event.
god, that's disgusting. Cumulative.
I forgot where I
If
was.
there was a worse way to use that word,
I'll fight it.
Please don't.
Will Coke stop that bleeding?
In
why,
any event,
Juana, why?
I feel like after my political career, I'm gonna need some emotional support, and so I
He'll
am.
be here for you.
I'm
1
accepting.
year and 49 weeks free from her political life. Almost on the regular. That's my math.
Who cares? I thought the 201st show was our 200th. What are you asking me for?
I'm accepting suggestions for
New career?
adorable and strange service animals.
But a hedgehog.
I'm considering hedgehogs.
We've already added. There are service
Platypus.
snakes.
No.
That is a no, a hell
No.
no. Get that off my screen. A no.
But I like that Amina immediately
Are
questions
those
the service snakes and asks, "Are they fancy names for dildos?" I'm gonna apply my service snake right now. Please excuse me,
Liberally.
liberally.
at regular intervals.
Oh, and you
The
can't. And a bird cannot be a service
No,
animal.
God,
That
no.
service
There are
snake
no
is just
birds
going to
for me.
attack the little man in the boat over and over and over
Here are
again.
my
Sink! Sink!
listeners at home that are going to write to us and suggest these things.
Talk about flooding a campaign.
We prefer that the service animal not be avian nor reptilian.
Yeah, reptilian. I'm going to eliminate. I'm going there first.
I'm going to go ahead and unfortunately
iguana?
eliminate the. Oh, I've had an iguana before. They're all right. Mine died really fast.
And those-
though.
what
I
are they
feel
called?
Like they're hard
The
to take
s-
care
You're supposed
of.
to feed them.
Dragon somethings.
A Komodo dragon feels like a bad idea.
Okay.
They're fairly aggressive and kind of deadly.
How about a bat?
Service
kill you.
skunk. That'll settle up where that smell of marijuana's coming from.
Buddy, get you one of them.
Yeah, it might be my service skunk.
Maybe
In
get
any
a
event,
service chinchilla. That'd be
I look forward to your input,
When
fine
it's done, you
listeners
can
of
get a
the
coat.
present and the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
God bless America.
Oh, your prayers mean so much.
Clayton McKee, to you, sir.
Thank Juana you were here.
I thought of you when I saw this story only because I realized how precious these items are to you in the store. Well, it took an idiot customer just 3 seconds to damage more than $6,000 worth of TVs, according to reports
Heresy.
and a video. A surveillance camera captured an unidentified man appearing to accidentally topple over 4 television sets at an HBH Woolcott's electronics store in St. Austell, South England, back in September.
Not at Wolcott.
Here is the picture of him doing it. 1, 2, boom, boom.
That-
1, 2, and one,
Oh, the back two feels slightly.
That made me cry.
That feels almost all accidental.
yeah. So he was looking at one, and he pushed it, boom,
And got scared and backed up and didn't
backed up
realize.
and got the other two.
I think he now understands how Domino's works, though.
Maybe he does. He knocked over one of the TVs while crouching down to inspect it. The tumbling screen struck a second, which also fell onto the ground. Then it seemed that things couldn't get any worse. He jumped up, hit the ones behind him, knocked those over, again, similar to Domino's. So he could only place his hands on his head as the store employee
the
came over
humanity.
to assess the damage. The staff was devastated when it happened, apparently, according to store manager Mike Collins. He told the local newspaper, the West Briton, "My manager said, you will never guess what just happened."
Can you bring that image back up?
Oh, I can. I'm amazing.
Because in a fun turn of events, remember the Dyson collar that I've described for Buddy Early? Look in the lower left corner. That's what that is.
It's a Dyson fan.
Yeah.
You're
that's-
correct.
We need
yeah.
to adapt one of those to Buddy Early's neck so that it blows air outward in 360 degrees so that he can
You
tolerate.
really were problem solving while I was
really
peeing.
was.
I'm impressed.
solving the problems. You know,
Well, you missed this. You missed the
as county
drawing.
supervisor, as potential county supervisor,
Potential.
aspiring county supervisor.
Wait, a service. I mean, is it a service squirrel?
We have an update on possible service animals. Service ostrich. No, that's just
That's a
suicidal.
bird.
bad.
No, that's a
That's
bird.
bad idea.
Service
Birds are
goat.
nope.
Well, I guess you don't have to recycle paper.
And I don't have to mow the grass anymore.
Service bears, they can give you a tight hug. And then anteater or a lot of foreskin. I could see where you'd be confused.
Joey. Okay. There's that. And then I still like Amina with her service squirrel.
Squirrel, yeah.
It's very loud where you are.
They're
Well,
just
the
rats
squirrels are
with
back
better
in the attic.
costumes. This time it's personal.
It is.
These are great suggestions. You find people in the chat room.
Service squirrels.
Supervisor, do you have another story?
Oh my God, I sure do.
Come on.
Commander.
This one's about a ship at sea.
Commander. Oh,
A
to all
ship
the
at
ships
sea.
Finally, one of them has come home
A
to roost.
ship at sea.
It's a beautiful ship. I'd like to get a
Would
picture.
you like to Google the RRS Sir David Attenborough?
Oh, I will. You watch me Google
The traditional spelling, of course.
Attenborough. Sure.
Has formally begun. Where am I? Okay. The United Kingdom's 200 million pound research ship will cruise around the polar regions to investigate the impact climate change has on the oceans. It is commissioned by the Natural Environment Research Council, the NERC, if you will.
Oh,
There's a pronounceable acronym.
Oh, you didn't tell me they had to be pronounceable.
Attenborough launched the traditional maritime keel laying process by commencing the first 100-ton hull unit to be lifted to the construction berth by crane. Speaking at the ceremony, he said it was an honor to be invited to the keel laying ceremony. So this is a ship named after an actual person.
Oh, I like it.
Attenborough was actually there.
I think this is it. And it's a lovely.
Isn't it lovely?
lovely
The
ship.
polar regions are not only critical for understanding the natural world, but they also have an enormous appeal for journalists, broadcasters, and the public. Now, the reason we're talking about this is because this is the vessel that hit headlines after winning the vote for the boat's name. Now, they were trying to name this particular vessel, and so they turned clearly to the internet. And they said, "Dear Internet,
Dear Internet.
as I just have for my service animal, dear Internet, please suggest to me, and then vote upon."
Well, you'll notice on this picture, it had
Yeah,
not been
this-
named yet because
name
boom,
of vessel.
there's the name of
Name of vessel, right?
Write your name here.
Right.
So it has been voted the RRS Sir David Attenborough.
Oh, we like him.
But if the internet had had his way, it would have been named Bodie McBoatface.
Actually,
That's
there's
right.
a picture. There's a hang on.
Bitchy McBitchstein.
That's right. The vessel hit headlines after winning the vote for the boat's name, Bodie McBoatface. Despite the public's strong favor for Bodie McBoatface, NERC and the science minister, Joe Johnson, decided to opt for a more serious name, RRS, Sir David Attenborough.
But
Now,
but
David-
I
now-
like that they actually have. They actually
Just
have,
to give it a whirl.
Come on.
Here's the font
Because-
we like.
Because
Now, you're probably going to answer my question.
probably
but
about
I
to.
confuse Richard Attenborough, who I think is the guy that directed Gandhi and starred in Jurassic Park, with David Attenborough, who is the narrator for all the nature documentaries of Earth and life and all those documentaries.
yes, you've answered your own question.
Okay, so yeah.
Well played,
But,
Sir Ormond.
And he's got that soothing voice and
is
just
one is one a son or a
Right.
father of the
Yeah, I think
other?
they're
Because NERC
Ooh.
research vessels are traditionally named after British explorers, such as the RRS Ernest Shackleton, the RRS Charles Darwin, or the RRS James Cook.
Oh.
However, Bodie McBoatface did make it to the ship. A
Bodie?
smaller,
I do enjoy that.
remote-controlled, autonomous submarine, which will be launched by the RRS Sir David Attenborough to slip under the ice sheets, has been named Bodie McBoatface.
Oh, I love it.
So at some point, a researcher is going to say to a ship captain, launch
The
Bodie
Bodie
McBoatface. Bodie McBoatface coming ashore, sir.
That's right.
Well, shouldn't that be
That's right.
Subby McSubface if they're going to do a sub? It just seems.
You know what? It could be, but the internet says no.
Okay, well, you have to believe the interwebs.
You have to. You
They're
have
always
to respect
true.
the internet.
Always true.
Everything on the internet is true.
Everything.
All of the things. But yeah, several late night commentary comedians have referenced the Bodie McBoatface, and I know that we never really covered it here.
Yeah,
It's a shame.
Yeah, because it's pretty hilarious. Because England says, "Hey, why don't you name our prestigious new ship?" And the internet says, "Bodie McBoatface."
And then they just fuck with you.
They just shit all over it.
And as I have said many times, like
This ought to be good.
when you get the high def TV
Oh.
and the full scale Blu-ray player, you need to get that Earth
Mm-hmm.
documentary that comes in like 19,000 discs.
There's a new
It's
one
available.
coming.
It's available on the Discovery Channel. So all you need is, but you have to watch that in high def on the biggest possible screen. And you have never seen polar bears that look like this. And there are very rare animals that they were actually able to photograph without harming them. Herds moving across the jungle, birds. They go to. It divides everything up by like creature, continent, region. You get to see the lungs of the earth as you make it through the first line of trees. It's one of the most beautiful documentaries, and he narrates it spectacularly.
Yeah.
And things get eaten. It's very circle of life.
Sure.
And so fortune favors the bold. I mean, he just has wonderful expressions
love
as
it.
something dies horribly.
Oh.
Floaty the boat. I like that one too.
Our friend Joey from Canada, he's in the chat room and he says, I think I'm the only one playing Buona. I keep saying it to myself. I'm 4 cans in. I have 8 to go. We still got 90 minutes. Come
Yeah.
on, Joey. Get it along.
Joey, listen, I want you to know that we support you, and we
You
think
do.
that it's good to have goals. We're proud of you.
Oh, look at this fucking thing he wants me to take on an airplane with me.
Is that a wombat?
No, that's a capybara.
Oh. Like I know what the fuck that. Traditional spelling.
It makes you laugh no matter where you
I
throw
think
it
they're indigenous to Australia. If
I
I'm
think
not
you are
mistaken.
correct.
I
think you are
in. I
correct.
just sent you that picture. Floaty the boat. I
all
like that.
all the world's most terrifying animals live in Australia.
No, because their native tongue is screaming.
Screaming.
That's also true. Also true. Oh my God! I got another vote. Yes.
You are. Oh, you know what I forgot to play?
So far past
Thank you,
double.
Michael Emery.
Before we move on, we should share this because this is what. Remember out early in the show?
Add to time.
Oh wait, what's this? Hang on, I don't want this.
Oh, you did just send me a capybara. That's very nice.
I don't need that.
I don't need that.
Where'd the
I'm
thing
gonna
go
click
that
on
I
the
had?
thing
Oh, here it is.
Tagged in the
Remember
back.
earlier in the show when Al said that he wanted 10 seconds of happiness, so he found a Will and Grace clip.
Yes.
Here
Oh,
we-
yay.
Enough is enough, is enough, is enough, is enough, is enough. It's enough!
Oh my God! I needed that clip years ago.
It's delightful.
9 o'clock, straight up snorting. Harrison, there you go.
Oh, Joe, you missed
Let
the
me
duck
let me
story.
tell you that sounds exactly almost exactly like Molly Montgomery and Trisha Monell at After Hours Karaoke, as Kat Carlson is trying to like count money and close a bar, and they're just screeching into the microphones. Enough is enough. Yeah, and from The Office, enough.
I get you.
No,
That's enough.
Al, you said you sent me a
good
picture?
times, good times.
Oh.
I do, of that creature for our viewers.
Stand by. You
Except
sent
for
me
the viewer.
The capybara.
Oh, I'd like to. Oh, and it's with a cat. That's cute.
The world's
I think it's
largest
eating the
rodent.
cat.
It's not eating the cat.
It is.
It's nuzzling.
It's actually a rodent. It's
I
a
haven't used that word in a
gigantic-
long time. Nuzzle. You don't get to
rat.
use that word a lot.
I'm sorry.
It feels weird to me.
Well, if you're apparently nuzzling wrong. There, look at that. Whatever that is, and a cat. What is that thing? It's lovely. I feel like
The reason that it's a still photo is because the cat's not in the next picture. There's just a handful of fur and some teeth are left.
meow, 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 meow. But you know what? If you look at this picture a little more closely, look at this. Hang on, I'm gonna get right in there. Oh, you can't. I can't get it as good. Look at the claws on that motherfucker. He's gonna fuck up some shit.
That feels like
First
no.
the cat.
Well, maybe so. I can't deny that.
The other. Okay, and the one that got me, and you know I do not watch the animal videos. I mean, I watch them, but I'm like, whatever, and I finish drinking my coffee. But there is the one where, for some reason, there is an orangutan or some kind of primate that is playing with lion cubs
No,
and, like, hugging them and playing with them, and I don't know if she's going to milk them later or what the fuck the story is.
like a surrogate mother.
Totes adorbs. I watch it over and over again. It's just,
It's cute, and she
it's-
grabs him and hugs him. Yeah.
one of them's going to eat the other in a minute.
Later on, as they grow up,
Right.
Well, I don't know. Maybe so, because there's lots of documentaries of I don't know what you call them, natural. I don't know what the hell they're called, but they have the sanctuaries where like a guy will raise lions literally from cubs. He's known him his entire life.
Oh, and the one where he
they
goes
just-
back and they find him.
and they
and
find him and they love him and they just jump and play with him and they not gonna ever harm him. They love him because. So maybe the orangutan, if these
Well, then
little
there's
animals,
the dangerous story of where Melanie Griffith, I never know what her name is,
Whatever.
her father was making the movie, and they had the lions around the house,
And they
and
have
one
all
of
those
them
creepy
almost
pictures.
ate her. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got along for a minute.
But then I saw a really cute one of a rescued baby elephant that thought that his human was in danger in the river and went and like tried to rescue him and pull him out of the river. That was me today.
All right. So Meow Cow reassures us that they're herbivores and that the cat makes it through that alive. I described it
thank
as a chupacabra.
chupacabra. I got it.
And a quick update for those joining us at hour 3.
Are we at hour 3? Oh my god.
Mary
No.
Who, foreskin, service animals, cocaine, and some other stuff. That's what we
No,
covered.
we only got
You're
to
all up
tell. We
speed.
went from 7 to 8. That's hour 1. We went from 8 to 9. That's we're in hour 3. Look at us go.
If Amina had a ship, she'd name it Wiggly Jiggles.
I think she's enjoying the Mary Who where she is. She's like, what?
You know,
Oh.
there are days that our listeners concern me.
Here's a story that I want Al Perkins to pay particular attention to because Al
Well, sometimes I do leave. That's true.
has dove.
Alma, check your battery.
Al has dove with the sharks. Haven't you, Al? Al,
Oh
haven't
my
you
God.
You've been a participant of the shark
I
diving.
have done the swim in the shark cage with the sharks thing.
Well, a diver is lucky to be alive after a great white shark inadvertently got inside a protective cage.
I think we're using the word protective wrong.
The unidentified diver was filming the shark from inside a supposedly shark-proof crate off the coast of West Mexico when the sea beast lunged for a chunk of tuna that he was being baited with. In fairness, was being baited to come close to the boat by this thing, and went for the piece of meat and actually got himself in
It's
between.
like you in a bar.
Whose phone's ringing?
Not
It's
mine.
mine.
So
I'm arranging the carpool for tomorrow. Excuse.
good. So the shark dives for the piece of meat and it gets his body wedged between two bars in the shark cage, right? Then fights to get through the goddamn bars into the cage. And then the terrifying video shows the shark thrashing around for several seconds before it frees itself. So this is a meme, but if you Google, I would Google the entire video. This is crazy. When you see the shark, they open the thing and the shark comes up out of the cage.
And the shark's getting cut up by those bars too. That's
Right.
the shark's blood there that you're
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah, that's the shark's blood. So after you see this video, after the shark comes out, then like a minute or so later, the guy who's filming from inside the cage comes out of the cage. And I'm gonna bet
Now,
you.
is he wearing the duck diaper or does he just shit the wetsuit?
I'm thinking the wetsuit was
I'm
full.
thinking he just shits those pants, man.
I have a warm, funny feeling. all down here. I'm going to need to spend some more time in the water. Thank you very much.
I've got a rinse. There's a rinse cycle coming up.
So, but if you watch it, it's nuts because you see the shark come in, and when the shark hits the tank, you see the tank move, and then the shark gives like a couple good paddles of that tail and goes through the bars and is in the cage, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, and where was this?
West coast of Mexico.
Oh, okay. They also let you scuba dive there without being certified, which I've done, and it's not a smart thing to do. They don't ask when your flight is either, and you're not supposed to like scuba dive and fly in the same 24 to 48 hours.
Pressure,
they don't ask.
Pressure.
Yeah. Now when I did it off of on the north shore of Oahu, and they take you out to the floating cage, and they're not allowed to chum. It's illegal to do any kind of chumming of the water.
Oh.
So what they do is they're over old lobster fishing grounds that are no longer in use. They've fished them out, but the sharks still know. They have like a Pavlovian response to the engine revving, because that means that the boats are getting ready to go, and the sharks know that there's they're expecting the cast off food, which I guess is you in this story. You know, you the
right
participant are now the food
in the cage.
Nope.
So they come.
Nope.
They come to the noise of the engines revving, thinking that there's going to be cast off lobster for consumption. So you get in the cage, and they don't start the clock of your time in the cage until the first shark appears.
Oh.
And they just rev the engines, and it's when I went, there was no great whites. It was sand sharks and Galapagos sharks, which are like 6 to 8 feet. Which when I was in the water, it was startling how they trump up on you and and then they skirt the other way. Like there's nothing to make them curious. Like they're just like, well, that's nothing.
Right. It's just Al in a cage.
Yeah. Not the first fat girl we've turned down. But I went in there first because I was like, I want to get in the water, and we could hear whale. We had just passed whales, so I wasn't sure what else would be down there. And you could hear whales singing underwater.
Oh, cool.
It was really beautiful.
That is cool.
And they revved the engine until something showed up.
And how long did you spend in the cage?
I think it was like 10 or 15 minutes before something showed up, and then I think you got like 10 or 15 minutes, maybe as many as 20 minutes in the cage with sharks, and they would swap it out. There's like 10 people on the boat, 4 people could be in at a time.
Okay.
But we were way out. Like we were like a good 3 or 4 miles out in the ocean.
Like really no land around you.
Yeah, no sight of land. And so I got out, and I didn't go in the water with sharks around the boat. There was nothing around the boat when I got in because I went first, just because I wanted to get in the water. And when I got out of the boat and like saw sharks surrounding the boat, that's when I got scared. Like I wasn't scared in the tank. Looking at them face to face didn't really scare me because you have no perspective, and they just appeared out of nowhere. Like you could see all the way to the bottom, but they came at you from the front, and it would be like, there's something. God, fuck, it's a shark. And then it was so exciting.
Right.
But then when I got out of the boat and like looked down at the water, I was like, oh, fuck no. And the guy's like, what do you think? And I'm like, I would have never gotten in that tank.
Had I known.
Had I seen them. And he's like, well, they're only 6 to 8 feet. I'm like, that looks gigantic.
Oh, next to you.
And then you see this, which is probably like a 12-foot great white. And you're like, oh, fuck,
hell
Jesus,
no.
Wanna? Nah.
No.
So.
Yeah, because that is a big shark coming up out of that.
Of all the ways that I might die in my life, that's not one of them.
That's just a big.
But that's going to be on Shark Week next week.
Oh, sure.
Really, yeah.
We can look forward to that minute.
Sure.
And you'll have the footage from in the
guy that was shooting him?
shitter, yeah. The scuba shitter, as we're going to call him. SS.
I like it. The scuba shitter.
The cage wetter.
Oh,
that's better.
I enjoy that.
Buana cage wetter.
Buana is from isn't that shit? Like bat shit?
No, that's
Lord.
Guana.
That's our
My bad.
word.
Guana.
No, that's not it either. But it's close. Everybody's close.
There's letters in it.
Yep.
I think it's guano.
Bat guano.
Guano. It is guano.
It's the
all
Latin
of these
version.
things sound so close.
So close. And then in the season of our Hallow. That's enough. Okay.
Oh, do I have a story?
Do you have a
my
story?
turn?
No, you don't necessarily have to. We can turn it over to Alfie
We
for
can
some.
This is.
No,
I'm
go ahead.
done. I'm done. I've shot. I'm
Oh.
done. Al, do you want to do
no,
something?
do your last one?
I've got one more.
Go
I sure
for
do.
it. Kat Carlson
I
has
sure
the
do.
floor.
Silent Bob. The Swedish Nobel Prize crew can't find Bob Dylan. It's a true story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
After he won the Hickey Doo.
The Swedish Academy says it has given up trying to reach Bob Dylan days after it awarded him the Nobel Prize for Literature. Right now, we're doing nothing. I've called, sent emails to his closest collaborator, and received very friendly replies. For now, that's certainly enough, says the Academy's permanent secretary. Her name is Sarah. So far, the American Troubadour has responded with silence since he won the prize on Thursday. He gave a concert in Las Vegas that very night and made no mention of the accolade. So, as an early Dylan song may have put it, how does it feel?
Indeed.
Yeah, it's been mentioned like more than once that everyone is expecting some kind of an interview with him, or the fact that he's on this tour and he's on stage and he's never mentioned it. And I don't think that's something that you can be like, I don't care. Like that's a big fucking deal.
Well, Sarah says that she's not worried at all. And
Does
thinks
Sarah
that,
smile?
No, Sarah Danius, I believe. I was avoiding her last name for fear of pronouncing it improperly.
I was
Hootie and the
referencing
Blowfishing it. Yeah,
I was referencing a Hall & Oates song. My bad.
I understand.
Okay.
It's a delightful song. I'm a big fan of the
well,
Hall
it's a
and the
smiling
Oates.
song.
It's a beautiful song.
Back in the day, I knew Hall & Oates. Which one's your better Hall? No, Oates.
Oh.
Only in tandem. I don't want
Yeah.
them separately. Anyway, every December 10th, Nobel Prize winners are invited to Stockholm to receive their awards. From
time.
King Carl the 16th, and to give a speech during a banquet. The Swedish Academy still does not know if Dylan plans to come to the event.
How do you think that speech would go from him?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, thank you, and I'm gone. But
It's good. That's good.
I am not a fan of his voice.
I'm really not either. I think lyrically,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
been a lot lyrically. He's fantastic.
Oh, and he's one of those
But
things
I'm
that-
really
I
not a
believe
big.
that's why he received a literature prize.
Well, I mean, but it is someone else singing his songs that make me enjoy him more.
Right,
Yeah.
Because and his son,
Dylan Jr.
No, he's the lead singer for the Wallflowers.
Oh, I didn't
Is it
realize
Jake
that.
Dylan? What the hell is his name?
I had no idea.
Juana Dylan, something like that.
Juana Dylan.
Juana
That's
Dylan.
it.
That is it. That's it.
Juana
Not
Dylan.
songs. Damn you, autocomplete. Jacob Dylan.
Jacob Dylan. Oh, I was close.
You were.
Considering I couldn't think of Barney Sanders or.
You couldn't think of anybody's name last
Is that
week.
the right? Apparently, he has 3 sons. There's a Jacob, a Jesse, and a Sam.
But Jacob was the Wallflowers.
Jacob, a Jesse, and a Sam Dylan.
Henry VIII, you are.
Ah,
we might have to take down that strong button.
on the coffee. No, I haven't had coffee tonight. I have it in the microwave ready to go after the show.
It's been a while since there was enough liquor on this show, that's for sure.
You need more. Need more.
In any event, nobody knows if Bob Dylan's going to accept his award at the ceremony. I imagine they'll just mail
I think
it
he
to him.
should.
I think he should. Seems like
Now-
a nice party.
If I'm not mistaken, and I know
The
it's
answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind.
not where I was going with it. God, he's old too. I don't recall this, but you'll know because you know a lot of these things.
'Cause
And
he drinks and he
and
knows
it's
things.
exciting
I
because
drink and I know
and it's
things.
exciting because it's coming up again as it does every year. The Kennedy Center Honors. Has Dylan ever been part of that? I don't recall.
I feel like yes.
I feel like yes, but I can't picture him sitting in the balcony.
And it
right
was
now.
one of those parts that, because it's always the surprising thing that gets you. It's never the.
She'll know in a minute.
It's never the It's never the one you think, oh, that's gonna be the great act this year. It's always the one that you're like, really, the choreographer I never heard of. You know what I mean? Like it's always something.
Yes,
that-
in 1997.
Oh, it
okay.
was okay. 4, just a
stand by.
general body of work.
Stand by.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a.
I gotta get through fucking ads.
It's for your whole career.
Right, but I'm sorry. I'm what I meant to say was I'm wondering what, like with the Who when they did the what the hell's the name of the song for the Who?
Oh, Bubba O'Reilly.
And like for fuck, I
Oh
can't remember
no,
her name.
Rain Down on Me.
Oh.
Rain
For
Down.
Betty LaVette.
Betty LaVette, and then the other one for I'm just blanking on names. When Aretha Franklin came out last year and sang,
Metro Woman.
right. It's like what was the big number? I'm wondering that they did for him.
Oh, and that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think that there was something like
Bruce Springsteen sang "Times They Are a Changin'."
Yes.
Oh.
Now I do remember
David
that.
Ball performed "Don't Think Twice," and Shirley Caesar sang
Oh.
"You Gotta Serve Somebody."
Oh,
He
his
was
Grammy-winning song from the first year of Best Rock Male Vocal. He won opposite Donna Summer for
he
Hot
was
Stuff.
honored alongside Charlton Heston, Lauren Bacall, opera singer Jesse Norman, and dancer Edward. It's European. I can't pronounce it. There's nothing.
Buona.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like,
Oh, so he was all right. Do we know who this year did? Can you?
and I don't think they've had an announcement
I
yet.
don't think they have either. 2016 honorees. I would love to because we got to prepare for the whole December.
And it will be Obama's.
Very busy.
It'll be his last choice.
Oh.
So it's we'll see who he See who we pick.
Oh, they do have it out. Wait,
They do?
Stand by.
This early?
stand by.
Well, everybody's got to clear the schedules.
Yeah.
It's an article from the LA Times from June. 2016 Kennedy Center honors go to the Eagles, Al Pacino,
Oh, yes, I did
and
know
Mavis
this.
Staples, and more.
So the Mavis Staples one is gonna be the good one. The Eagles waited.
And James Taylor.
The Eagles were
A year.
They waited a year because they thought Glenn Fry would get better.
Right, I
and
forgot.
he didn't. They wanted to wait for the honor until Glenn Fry could be with them, and unfortunately,
he will clearly not.
passed. But you're gonna ball your way through the Eagles, and the James Taylor one's gonna kill you because somebody's gonna do Fire and Fucking Rain, and they're probably gonna sing it about goddamn Glenn Fry. Son of a bitch! Son of my mother's dick.
Oh, I can't even stand it.
So many things to get through with all
Can't
that.
even.
Juana, that's gonna be a tough show to watch.
Juana! Oh, my God.
Gonna be rough.
So, Kat, we're done with you? We're done with-
well, don't sound so good.
Well, no, but I mean, I just like to know when I'm wrapping this up.
Yeah, you're done with me.
And I think it's
I'll
time.
take the headphones off and just drink.
I think, well, I'm going to do that. So I think, Al, we're going to turn over to you and some entertainment stuff.
Entertainment! Shara says goodbye again. We have some movie reviews and a TV show review for you. We have found out. Oh, we have something that I've been meaning to cover for a couple weeks from Fox News that was horrible. American Crime Story, whatever it's called, is announcing its third season where I could play a role. And then there's Bette Midler's return to Broadway, which I don't think we've talked about. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees are announced for the year. There's all kinds of stuff that we're going to talk way too fast through.
Al Perkins, ladies and gentlemen.
So we're going to start with Michael Moore has revealed a surprise Donald Trump film opening tomorrow in New York City.
But are we surprised?
It's October. October surprise.
And he's calling it his big October surprise. He was the one that said that Donald Trump would win the GOP primary. He was one of the few people that said
He said that from the beginning.
Stop making fun of it. It's going to happen. And he's the one that keeps saying that Clinton's going to lose. I think the plot is stop saying Clinton's going to win because people might not go out and vote. But I think we've reached critical mass of everyone now on the same page of like, this must be stopped.
This is important, right?
Except for the 38% of people who just can't let go and think it's all rigged.
And the 9 teeth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You said that earlier.
Yeah, several of them. So it's kind of curious because he does not like Hillary Clinton at all. And
Moore.
is really holding on to in this story, Michael Moore, and is really just not letting go of that vote for Iraq, the Iraq War, which I get, but at some point you got to be like, there are other issues that happened.
Right.
It happened. Like we gotta all move on to something else. And now,
I'm a giant pacifist. I was all for the Iraq War. Like, go fucking get them. I mean, the entire country was all about it. You can't.
I was not. I will say that I
Sure.
took a lot of abuse for being very vocal against. But I realized that most of the country was, and it was the
Right.
Fox News led war.
Revenge is the natural instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a dish that people wanted served hot. They weren't waiting for
Sure.
it to be cold. And not that it justifies it or anything like that, but you just have to right, wrong. Of course it was wrong, but you have to move on now. It's 13 years later.
It's happened. You can't change it.
You can't change it. There's no
Right.
way to go back. And you can't have Gary Johnson, professional fucktard and stoner, and interviews with him will make you vote against legal marijuana because
No
that
kidding.
guy is
Gary
baked.
Johnson.
Yeah.
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 His interviews just keep getting worse and worse and worse. Like, I see it's like,
'Cause
stop
I-
smoking pot and run for president. Jesus Christ.
I feel like he's less informed than I am. Like,
Oh, my God.
And everybody keeps saying, well, the average American doesn't know that. Yes, but he's running for president, and this guy is.
You
if
should be
I
above
was
average.
running for president,
It's a write-in. You could write it in.
I certainly could.
And I think it was John
And,
Oliver.
and Kenny, I still won't be an official write-in.
John Oliver did not. John Oliver did not fire all the cannons that he has like he did at Billy Bush. It turns out that was a one-time event to go
Full
just
on,
straight on
yeah.
harpoon. But he went after Gary Johnson and played some of his stuff, and he was like, "No, sir, you're not ready." So that was it. So Michael Moore. So it'll be interesting to see because he's not a fan of either candidate, and I hope this is not some pro Gary Johnson pot smoker, mom jeans wearing human movie. I'm very nervous. Michael Moore and I really get him, and then sometimes he pisses me off, which I know is what he's looking for. Like he's one of those people that he's on the right team, but you disagree with them. So it's frustrating. But I'm curious. So
Did you like Super Size Me?
that's not Michael Moore, but yes, I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that.
No, that's-
He was didn't he did a food one though?
I thought he did
Didn't
do a food one.
No,
Food
Super
Inc?
Size Me is the guy that owed 30 days. That
Yeah,
did 30
he just
days
kept
of,
eating it.
of McDonald's.
My bad. You are correct. But I thought there was
Spurlock.
a food.
Spurlock.
Stand by.
He
Oh,
did the
Morgan
one.
Spurlock?
Yeah, that's
Super Size Me. That was
right.
CNN. My bad.
He did Sicko.
Yeah, he did Sicko about the healthcare industry. Who do we invade next was this one this year. He did Bowling for Columbine, which was genius.
That's true.
Yeah.
Bowling for
I'm thinking
Columbine
my
is
bad. Wrong documentary.
And Bowling for Columbine, if you got to see that, like that came out just as the war with Iraq started, and that really was the blow to like, oh fuck. Like if you watch that, you'll be like, well, you get why he's pretty pissed off. Like
right.
he makes the case of like we should have never done this. There was
Sure.
no compelling evidence. So that was it. So that comes out. Bette Midler makes her triumphant return to Broadway.
Da-da!
She did do a non-musical a couple years ago where she played a famous casting director or no, famous agent in Hollywood, and it was a one-woman show. Got a lot of good reviews, but she has not been on Broadway since she was in the original cast of Fiddler on the Roof back in the 60s.
Holy
and then
cow.
her one-woman review of Clams on the Half Shell in the 70s. So she's coming back, and the cast has been announced. It's her and David Hyde Pierce,
Oh.
who will be playing Horace Vandergelder. Kate Baldwin is going to be in it. Gavin Creel, who is the cutie patootie from Thoroughly Modern Millie and the Hair Revival. So let me see who they're all playing. Kate Baldwin will be Irene Malloy. Ribbons Down My Back. Creel will be Cornelius, who sings It Only Takes a Moment. Taylor European will be Barnaby. Melanie Moore as Ermengarde, and someone named Samard as Ernestina, and Will Burton as Ambrose Kemper. So, Ambrose, do a turn. Let me see. So, I mean, and this is one of the best movie musicals of all time, and it's one of the ones that the movie version of the stage show is just a joy to watch, and it's directed by Gene Kelly, and it's so lush, and I think it was like one of the biggest budgeted movies that was ever made at the
gorgeous.
time, and you can find every dollar in that movie. They built a fucking train. And it's just filled with wonderful, wonderful Jerry Herman at his absolute best before the parade passes by and Put On Your Sunday Clothes and Hello Dolly and Ribbons Down My Back and It Only Takes a Moment and dancing. The music is gorgeous. And there's a gorgeous song in it called, I think it's called Love Is Only Love, that they took out of another show and put it into this movie. It wasn't cut from Hello Dolly out of town before it went to Broadway. It was for something else, and they bring it into the movie, and it's just lovely. It's a little solo thing. American Horror Story for season 3. This season 2, the one that's coming up, will be about Hurricane Katrina.
Oh.
And that's what that's going to be. And then the third season will be about Versace's murder, and I think it's Andrew Cunanan was the assassin in that. But for those that don't know, the story of Cunanan and how he got into his murder spree was of a gentleman that was a patron of BS West on Monday afternoons.
I knew you had a connection to this story.
That one of the first men he murdered was one of my customers on Monday afternoons at BS West. So I had to do an interview with, I think, the Chicago Police Department, where because I don't know anybody's name and always get every story wrong, ended up describing
All the wrong people.
the guy that cut hair next to my hairstylist. I described him to a T.
Good work.
And then the next time I went and got my hair cut, my friend Robert, who you know Robert, he can verify this story.
Verdugo?
Verdugo. Robert Verdugo used to do my hair.
Yes.
And when
you had
the
hair.
person that came up next to him to do someone's hair, I screamed because I thought it was I thought it was like, oh my God, it's him. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I told him the story, and he's like, you mean you just described the guy that stands next to you while you get your hair cut to the police in Chicago? And I'm like, yep, that's what I did.
Was it Michael?
maybe I
Was it Mike or
did.
Darren who came into you and you're like, you just described all the wrong people? I thought
Oh,
there
that was a different deposition. That was a deposition about a drunk driving case where I gave so much detail
He is so
and joy
wrong.
to the story, and then I told Mike Fernelli, and Fernelli was like,
You're wrong.
You know you described the wrong person completely, right? Like, the guy you just described as white. They're looking for a black man, and I was like, oh, him.
Oh, sure.
Oh, now I remember the story. Now that you say that, now I know who you're talking
We
about.
talked
We talked about this, right? Oh, my God.
Oh, sweet Jesus. So anyways, but I think that's an interesting one because that was a murder spree that kind of went on all around the country
Yeah.
and ended in the unfortunate assassination of Versace outside of his house in Florida, and it's just a terrible story about a really confused.
This kid was a mess.
Just a mess. Who eventually, I think he committed suicide. I don't think they caught him. I think he committed suicide. I
think you're correct. In the boat when they. How many years ago was that?
It was the same year as Princess Diana because Elton John lost like 2 of his closest friends within like a minute of each other.
Bingo, you are. I think
because I think Princess Diana's at Versace's funeral and then she died like a couple weeks later.
That makes sense.
I feel
she
like
died August 31st, 97.
And so he was probably July of 97.
And that.
July 15th, 1997.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was very close together.
I recall that. Now
like
you say
Rain
that.
Man over there.
But definitely
if you
July.
get me for
Definitely
a deposition,
July.
I will.
You're fucked.
I'm fucked because I will describe
everybody who
shows.
was not involved in the story at all will get implicated because Al doesn't know how to fucking pay attention.
Yeah, but he's an excellent driver.
Yeah,
Excellent driver.
as long as you never want to go faster than 22 miles an hour, I'm your man.
Or right or left.
Likes to drive the car
Exactly.
on
There are
Sundays.
no left turns in this journey either. 'Cause I'm
Wapner's on at 4. He likes to watch that.
terrified of left-hand turns. So I brought this up last week to just echoing silence. So I bring it up again because Kat's here. But
This is exciting. I
Hamilton,
wasn't
the PBS documentary, will be
on Friday.
October 21st. Check
I'm
your
freaking
local
out.
listings. David Diggs, who, if you're a fan of Blackish, as
He's
I am,
on Blackish and he's killing me right now.
and
I
he's
love him so
much fun
So cute.
on that show. But his voice is so distinctive because he talks exactly like he raps, which I realize is pretty much
Is
the same
what
thing.
rapping is.
But it's just so fun to see
It's
his
rhymey
personality,
talk.
rhymey talk.
In a
But he
in
just
a
has
cadence.
such a great presence on
Yeah.
screen, and he just
And they gave him a great character.
yeah, and a show that just can't get any better just has found another way
All the time.
to top the Jennifer Lawrence, who Black Jesus is just killing it. She wasn't on last week, and it made me sad. Like when she's not on, I get very sad.
I believe it.
So fans of the Broadway smash Hamilton will get to see the original cast perform parts of 18 songs from the show as part of the documentary film Hamilton's America about the making of. So you may expect parts of Alexander Hamilton, My Shot, Hurricane, the Schuyler Sisters, You'll Be Back, Right Hand Man, Helpless, Guns and Chips, Yorktown, The World Turned Upside Down, which I already know they filmed because they show it everywhere.
Right.
It's the only thing that's on fucking YouTube. Wait For It, which they did in the weird panoramic camera, which is fun to watch. That video is still up. They made it for the Tonys.
Oh, the Wait For It. Yeah. I have
They
that
do it
one.
in panoramic camera, which is fun.
Yeah.
What did I miss from the White House performance, which is David Diggs?
Harrison's comment, based on what we just were talking about with Al being a horrible deposition giver, Al will fight tooth and nail on something he knows that he remembers.
Yeah, I will, and I'll keep fighting.
Right.
Until you
prove
show
wrong.
me the picture of the. I'm like, oh fuck, I do have the wrong person.
I don't think I've ever seen the White House. What did I miss?
It's from the. It's
Because
not from.
I've seen the original Poetry Jam.
and
I've
it's the
seen
next one where they come out and they. Yeah, you've seen but
Is it What Did I Miss?
yeah, they do. They do.
They
What
do
Did I
another
Miss?
one too.
Yeah. Cabinet Battle number 1, the room where it happens, the White House and Broadway performances, One Last Time, which is the one. There's 2 songs in that show that make me cry every time. One Last Time gets me every fucking time, and I've actually now when I'm such a nerd that sometimes if I'm awake and have nothing to do, I'll just read George Washington's farewell address. And when it gets to the last part about everyone should sit under their own vine and fig tree, which turns out was one of his favorite expressions, and sometimes he meant it biblically and sometimes he didn't. But it was one of his go-to expressions, and they were like, "I'll fit in that phrase," because it was written mostly by James Madison. The first time he thought he was not going to run, he thought he would only serve 1 term, and then he added on a little bit more when he decided he definitely had to not be president. So I love to read that speech because it's absolutely beautiful. His farewell address, as we're learning now, it's where the thing about the peaceful transfer of power in an election. We're one of the few countries that ever did a peaceful transfer of power, and it was George Washington's
That's
example.
how it's supposed to happen this year too.
It's how it's supposed to happen this year. So that's what everybody's bringing
Optimist.
up is Trump is actually forcing people to argue with George Washington while claiming to be patriots. It's so fucked up.
See, I start crying way earlier in the show.
Oh, I do too,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's where they bring me back because I
Wait
can't
a
make
minute,
it through Dear
because
Theodosia.
that would be enough. Gets me every time.
Dear Theodosia.
Stay Alive can get me if I'm in the right
yeah.
mood.
So Burn, the election of 1800, The World Was Wide Enough, and then Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story, which is usually why I go face down crying. because
That's when it's just not cute and you have to leave the room.
Yeah, you have to-
I'm not sure
that
how I'm
one
gonna
can't
get
be
through
watched
that in
with
person.
witnesses.
I don't know how.
With witnesses.
So that one's coming up. The announcement by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The nominees for this year are Bad Brains. I've never heard of them.
Never heard of them.
Depeche Mode, which I am a strong advocate for having them get in because we are. This is their. So this means it's the 25th anniversary of their first release. That's how you get nominated. It has to be 25 years from your first release. So
Bad Brains is a hardcore punk band from the 70s.
I've never heard that name that I recall.
I had never either. So Depeche Mode, I think this is their first year that they were eligible and they got nominated. Electric Light Orchestra, which I must insist gets in.
Yellow.
I feel like we're going to relive all of Xanadu's soundtrack with them.
Yeah. Jane's Addiction, which I'm perfectly fine with them getting in. Joan Baez.
Of course.
Who gets in on the, everyone is saying that the Bob Dylan Nobel Prize may carry over to Joan Baez because many people can't think of a Joan Baez song since she really didn't have like a Tapestry-style album. She only had 2 real hits. She's mostly known for her body of work and those that followed her. So that might be a little bit tougher. Journey has their...
good.
Gets nominated for the first time.
I wonder if... nominated, not in.
No, they're not in yet, so you get to vote. Pearl Jam, who I think will make it. This is their first year of eligibility.
Call me daughter. I'm just going to sing.
Yeah. Steppenwolf, Tupac Shakur. This is his first year of eligibility. And now this means that like 91. Oh, no, and that's a big fat lie now that I think about 25 years. So Depeche Mode has been eligible for 36 years.
Yeah, because they're in their 80s, early
Holy
80s.
shit. They're like 79 or 80. Jesus Christ. Shaka Khan, Janet Jackson, Jay Giles
Khan.
Band. I think Jay Giles Band has to make it. Love hurts. Joe Tex, who is from the 60s blues singer like Otis Redding kind of feel. Kraftwerk, MC5, which I never heard of them either. The Cars, the Zombies, and Yes. And based on how long it took Rush to get in, I think Yes will have to
some
fight
time
that
to
same
wait.
battle. And God knows Yes has been eligible. They're in like their 50th year of eligibility. Yes has been around as long as I have, I think. But the Zombies, who only have the one big song, is it Time of the Season? What's your name? Who's your daddy? Is he crazy rich like me?
Yeah.
That song?
That's the Zombies?
This is Zombies. I'm 99% sure that's
Time
the
of the
Zombies.
Season. Other songs include She's Not There, Tell Her No.
I feel like the car should get in just for Drive alone. Even though it featured Ben Orr. But still, who's going to drive you home tonight?
Oh yeah, and
I just love that
the
song.
fact that and that's one of those groups that was around for and that was like Tim's favorite group for years was the Cars before that song came along. Like
And they had a lot of other ones.
Yeah, they had a very
You might
rich
think,
history. Yeah,
other ones.
And so I mean, there's a lot there. I think it's either 5 or 6 make it in. At least one is by popular vote, which I think helps a couple people here and there. I really don't think that, but this is Chic's 11th time being nominated, and they still have not made it in. And I think it's time to correct that error because, I mean, you just had, oh, Jesus Christ, what was that song with, they played it every fucking day about, I'm on the To Get Lucky, Daft Punk.
Daft Punk.
That was,
right.
I mean, that's so clearly Nile Rodgers on bass that, like, as soon as you hear Nile Rodgers on bass, you know it's Chic. Like, you just wait for the girls to chime in. So that was kind of surprising that they're on their 11th time. And then we didn't talk about this. This happened a couple weeks ago on Fox News on the Bill O'Reilly show. They have this horrible section, this Man on the Street by Jesse Waters. It was horrible. And he went through Chinatown asking people questions about voting, and it turned into this racist, horrible thing.
I don't know anything about this.
It was shockingly offensive. Like, this is something that they would have done in like 1981 and someone would have found funny. It really does. It crosses so many lines, and he uses like really horrible
Racial slurs,
Asian stereotypes, and it's just horrible. So I just sent it to you. Oh, and Amina brings up one of my favorite songs by Depeche Mode, Blasphemous Rumors. Although I didn't know what blasphemous meant when that song came out, and I thought he was saying, I think that dog's got a sixth sense of humor, and I was really confused and had to, like, ask somebody, like, what does blasphemous mean, and why would a dog have a sick sense of humor? So I was a child. I
That's
wasn't
fair.
talking about your linen.
or moving in.
So if you get a chance, you know what? I'll copy and paste this link. You have to watch this, and this is what Bill O'Reilly considers to be a funny. I've just put the link in the chat room. Bill O'Reilly thinks this is a funny thing to have on his show, and it's horrifying. It was a couple weeks ago, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And it never rises to
What
funny.
in the hell is going
What
on?
What in the hell is going on? It's like Moana. So click to close. So, and then we found out that I guess Rogaine a thing. That is not what I was looking up. Too late.
Before we venture too far away from Fox, were you going to Fox? Where are you going?
No, I was going to that Cher has announced her 19th farewell tour. The Farewell to Farewells tour. And I have
Right.
to say that after how much fun she had on just lambasting Trump on the regular, and the fact they're the same age and they're pretty close in
Yeah, they are.
they're only like a couple of months apart.
Literally the same age.
And the fact that she is just relentless with humiliating
Should
him
be
on
71
Twitter.
in May, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I think his birthday's in like June or July or something like that. But the fact that she will not let up.
No.
And she knows that he takes every single tweet and
Personally.
yeah, personally.
To the jab to the heart.
It makes it fantastic. So I think I may have to join in on farewell tour number, I don't know, what are we on, 15, 14,
Well, I've already
13?
decided. I've got to figure out when the hell
ask
she's coming
Google.
here. Because it's supposed to be classic share. According to what I read earlier today, that's like the classic share tour, which I'm not sure what the fuck
But
that means.
yeah.
What, more footage of Sunny? I don't know what this means.
Right, and that's my problem with the tour is that so much of it is watching movie clips.
Right. It's not her just standing there
She's
singing.
exhausted.
Of course she is. No, so I've already figured out that I'm going to have to book this. We have to go again because Mom needs to see Cher again. Because I still feel like I'm making up for the fact that I never got to take Mom to see Tina Turner. So I'm just going to take her to Cher more.
And I think
This will be her, as it turns out, this will be her third, arguably fourth farewell tour. Here's why. Living Proof, the farewell tour ran from 2002 to 2005.
Jeez.
Then she was at the Coliseum
Oh,
from
yeah.
2008 to 2011, arguably a farewell tour. Then Dressed to Kill tour 2014, and now Classic Cher 2017. So third, arguably fourth.
I would like it if she'd phone old Tina and say, "Listen, why don't you come back out again? We'll do a doubleheader tour." I would
The tour to end all tours.
all of them. Tina
the
and
goodbye
Cher.
to end all goodbyes. But I think we're just seconds away from Tina Turner announcing another tour.
Nuh-uh.
I'm
Why do you think that? Tell me why.
she's
Because he drinks and he knows things.
Exactly.
I want to know why you know that or why you think that.
It's been kind of around the
Many people are saying it.
Many people. No, it has been around the internet for a while
I'm going to
that
have to block. I'm going to cut your mic off.
that Tina
I'm
Turner's
going to Ben
on this-
Carlson you and cut your mic off.
Listen, Ben Carson.
Because I need to know about this Tina Turner coming back.
She has been kind of bubbling under the pop culture surface. She's been appearing at things and showing up places, and they think she's got something in the hopper that maybe Switzerland is proving to be boring.
I am very excited about this. That's cool. I'm gonna believe it now. I'm just gonna believe it now.
But do you believe in life after love?
Well, I've seen it 17 times. I'm gonna probably believe in it again. Okay, let's get back to Fox News for just a minute. This popped out, and I was surprised that this came out. I've known this for years. You and I have known this for years, Al Perkins, because we have mutual friends in common who know this person and who have talked about this topic. Shepard Smith from Fox News came out. We've known he's been a Mo for many, 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 many years. Has just been on Fox News forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Has obviously, I mean, I'm sure his paychecks are lovely. He's spoken, and I've always thought it was hypocritical to be on that network, be a gay man, and be just, I realize you're just a reporter. You get a paycheck to read the news, and I get it.
And he's one of the few news people on that network. That's the thing that nobody realizes. Everyone else admits to being a pundit.
An actor.
He is actually a news person and has stayed, I think, except for Katrina, his coverage of Hurricane Katrina was spot on there with Anderson Cooper as far as like calling out for help and really getting the media attention down there. I think he stayed very neutral. Like I remain kind of unclear on his politics too. He's one of those people that when I do watch him, I'm genuinely baffled as to what side he's on. He doesn't strike me as conservative or liberal. Like he really does ride that rail.
I don't get it.
Juana.
Wow. But I mean, if you didn't know that, if you in our listener or viewership, if you didn't know, Shepard Smith from Fox News has formally come out, but was praising Roger Ailes, for being. He actually called him. He loved him like a father. That he was never disrespectful to him. It was always warm and engaging and encouraging and like all of those things. Like everything that I read, though I didn't read deeply into these stories. I kind of breezed through them, but I just thought it was interesting that he's now come out and he's still with Fox, and I'm very curious to see if any fallout comes from that, because the base of Fox is white, straight, America.
The viewers are losing their fucking minds. I
haven't even seen that come out yet.
Oh no, because you're not reading comment pages. I mean, the minute I heard that he came out, I went right to the comment section.
But I just got it this morning.
Vile.
I just saw it this morning for the first time.
Oh,
I haven't even had time to digest all of that yet.
I think it was on my trending list yesterday or the day before, and I sat there with my coffee and I just went comment to comment, and I have never seen.
Is it vile?
Oh, it's vile. I can't say I've never seen it at this point because I've seen it so many times with so many different topics. And now our friend Mark Martinez is getting
chastised by Dottie, whatever the hell her fucking name
from fucking Iowa.
Right.
So I'm gonna try. And
he posted some screenshots of this woman who's just
like after him for being liberal, and she lives in Iowa, and she's after a Phoenix
anchor.
Right. So I'm thinking maybe she is just moved down here, like it's the start of snowbird
Be.
season.
Oh, you could be right.
She's originally from Iowa, but
my in-laws arrive on Friday.
A good time for all was had.
So we'll see you a lot more.
I'll be drinking a lot. Yeah.
So and then a couple other things.
You'll find me at many, many bars.
Many. The Smithsonian is clicking its heels 3 times and wishing for $300,000. Almost 80 years after Judy Garland donned those ruby slippers in The Wizard of Oz, the Smithsonian National Museum of American History has launched a Kickstarter campaign to help restore and preserve the iconic shoes. For years, Dorothy slippers have been on display at the museum in D.C., and in the decades since The Wizard of Oz hit theaters in 1939, the sequins have started to break and the bright red color has started to fade. Although the Smithsonian is federally funded, the museum says on its Kickstarter page that restoration projects like the slippers aren't covered by federal appropriations, which is why it's turning to the public to help raise the money. And I was telling Clayton when he asked about this, and I was wondering about how the federal money worked, that in the tour of and the tour is done. Most of it is the Debbie Reynolds sold off. She collected Hollywood costumes from MGM, and she had this fantastic when she had the Debbie Reynolds Casino and Museum in Vegas. She had one of the largest costume collections, Hollywood costume collections in the world, and she sold it off, and it was bought, and it's been touring the last few years. It has like Darth Vader's costume. It has Marilyn Monroe's dress from this 7-Year Itch. It has the gingham dress from The Wizard of Oz, and on and on and on. It was a very big and very exciting tour that was also as like a little side thing for like $5 extra. You could see Oscar dresses, and so a lot of women had donated their Oscar dresses that they wore to the ceremony. Glenn Close put in a couple. There was, but one of Cher's gowns is in that collection. But they start to look run down. Like Marilyn Monroe's dress from 7-Year Itch is patinaed over the year. It's kind of yellowed. So there is some restoration that needs to be done for these things.
As it turns out, though, the ruby slippers in question got to the National Museum by an anonymous gift in 1979, according to their Kickstarter
And there's
page.
more than one pair, because there were several pairs, so you can. I think these ones are supposed to be authenticated as having
been
movie? Shot, but she wore several. They had several
sure,
pairs
yeah,
of
they would
shoes.
have to.
Well, geez, it was 2.5 years they shot the movie.
Yeah, maybe her feet smelled. Yeah, you never know.
Couldn't have.
So I thought that was fun. So we'll just do a couple quick reviews and things you should be watching. Let me get to it. That's the wrong page.
The Kickstarter is also up to, they've raised $111,000 so far.
Oh, that's exciting.
With
Wow,
2,055 backers.
And how long?
I don't know when it started, but they have 29 days to go in their campaign.
Oh,
here.
okay.
I don't know that I see a start date.
I've gone through lot of these stories. We talked about that. Everybody needs to thank Walgreens again. Let me go through this. Let's go through this. We went through this. Okay, so this Thursday night on Fox, and probably available for viewing with Kat Carlson at the Cobalt, is Fox Television Network's
the Rocky
Horror Picture Show, which I don't think is live. I'm getting very confused messages.
So the review, the most reliable seeming review that I've read, that had a sneak peek, it does not appear to be live. And it appears that they've done kind of a nod to the cult aspect of it and the fan fiction aspect of it, and so they're doing cutaways to the fan interaction part in like a fake
that's
audience,
fun.
Which is fun. So it's
they're gonna Mystery Science 3000.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mystery Science Theater to it. Yeah, so it looks very fun. There are, of course, snooty purists that are trashing it before it's even come out.
Oh yeah, I don't care. I work with a couple of those, and fuck them.
A fun time will be had by all. Laverne Cox, God love her, do it. Do it.
If you watched Penny Dreadful, his name is Reese someone or other, and his name eludes me. Reese Carney, I think, is his name. That name I think I have right. He is playing Riff Raff, right? Riff Raff?
Stand by.
I can't remember. I remembered Reese Carney, but not Riff Raff.
Got me.
I got
Magenta
nothing for Reese. Let's go to Rocky Horror.
Well, the guy that originally played the character we're going to call Riff is the one that wrote the show, wrote the songs, and he is...
It's Reeve with a V.
Oh.
And it is Carney, and he's playing Riff Raff.
Riff Raff. So the guy that originally... If you've seen the movie, that's the guy that wrote the entire thing. That's his baby.
Yeah.
And he is Riff Raff in the movie.
I don't know that I knew that. That's interesting.
But it's from a stage play that, and I think they're going to include Swords of Damocles, I think is the name, is a song that's not in the movie that most real purists are from the stage production where they originally started throwing things at the stage.
Right.
Have always been upset that song was cut. If you get the DVD now, it was filmed but then cut.
Okay.
It's like, what the fuck? So it just looks good. And the guy Reeve Carney, he is a pretty boy, let me tell you, because in Penny Dreadful he plays Dorian Gray, and I think he's lovely. So that's this Thursday on Fox, and then Friday you have Hamilton, so you can just musical theater your way through the month.
Oh, I'm so excited. So
I have a couple of the TV show that I want everyone to watch, and it's on between the Goldbergs, which everyone knows I love, and Modern Family, which is probably getting close to time to shut that down. Just because everything else is just taken their little style and made it better. But Speechless with Minnie Driver, and I have just a huge...
The promo looked good. I
Really?
haven't seen the show.
It's very clever, and it's like Alec Baldwin. Whoever had the first idea that, Minnie Driver is kind of funny. After all her dramas and serious movies and the sad fat girl movie with whatever that kid's name is, Circle of Friends, that... To somebody be like, she's pretty and she's funny. Why are you making her unattractive and sad? Like, stop that. And she is a delight in a movie.
That's my life story.
Someone tell my writers that. Right?
Yeah.
Your campaign manager should get right on that.
Eric, make a note.
And I think his name is Richard O'Brien. They're asking about Riff Raff in the stage play, and I think he was in the original stage play. But anyway, Speechless, it's so much fun, and it's such a, and we have this new formula of like one kid that's different than the rest of the family. The Goldbergs is the kid who has the camera. There's there's the kind of weird younger kid on the middle. Mm-hmm. And now this one has a special needs child that can't speak, and he uses a reader board to like point to the letters.
Oh, okay.
So his caretaker reads for him. But the kid is very funny and really has like good timing. But Minnie Driver just steals that fucking thing as the overbearing protective mother who the caretaker kind of takes some responsibility off her. So she gets to kind of live her life a little bit, but she can't let go. And you're left with this. And the caretaker is funny. He's from Reno 911. So he's a funny guy.
He's the big funny black guy.
So it's about a boy, but they made the boy more challenged. There's a series called About a Boy that Minnie Driver did.
Oh, yes. So kind of
so
that
like
concept. But this one, there's a whole family.
About a Boy.
Yeah, but it's about the whole family and the family that just, because they know there's so many things that they can't get to, that things are just going to fall through the cracks, so they don't try.
Okay.
And it makes it a very funny family. Like, everything in their house is stuff they found on the street. They tell the neighbors, we're not mowing the lawn. Like, we can't even start that because it's going to fall through eventually, so you can't get mad at us. It's just not going to
gonna be a
happen. And
Ooh, they should get a service coach.
yeah. Oh, how helpful. Chupacabra. So that's a show that I found it to be so charming. So for your Halloween movie for the month, and I watched this I've been watching scary stuff because everybody's doing the specials for Halloween, and I love to have all the windows open and doors open. Everything's got screens or locks.
Big
and watch
metal
scary
grates.
movies. And so we brought out an old movie, what turns out is a classic, and it's one of those cult movies that I think I watch all the time, but it turns out I haven't seen it in like decades or more. I have it on DVD.
You just relive scenes in your head? Is that
Yeah,
what you do?
but I'm so afraid of the movie that I don't watch it, but I think I see it all the time. And for the opening scene, I'm like, what the fuck is this? I've not seen this movie. But John Carpenter's The Fog, and especially if you've been watching Stranger Things on Netflix, this is a movie that they stole about 70% of the movie from. Like, and as everybody kept saying that the soundtrack, not the soundtrack, but the score of Stranger Things, everyone was saying Tangerine Dream, which I kind of get. There's a lot of movies from the 80s that are Tangerine Dream that I kind of get that reference, but I in my head was thinking John Carpenter, and it turns out the movie, and I was thinking, is it the Halloween, the little noise of the boom when all of a sudden it hits and you're just scared to death watching a fucking pumpkin. It turns out I meant the score from The Fog. This was the movie that I had in my mind, but I just couldn't get the reference. But I was in my house with the bejesus, the Buana, if you will, scared out of me over the music. And they said that they cut the movie once, no one thought it was scary, so they just went in and were like, turn it to 11. Like, let's just scare the shit out of people.
This?
Is that The Fog?
Well, it says it is, but I don't know if it...
Yeah.
Oh, it says John Carpenter's The Fog right here.
Oh, look at that.
The main theme. We're probably going to get... Who knows if we can ding this.
But it's all that electronica.
It almost sounds like the bells. Like the...
Yeah, and it's quick.
Oh, sure.
He has all the same influences. He's one of those directors I like because we've clearly seen all the same horror movies.
Right.
minor key. You're getting... I get you. Do we
So
go
if
somewhere?
you've seen Stranger Things, this sounds familiar. Where all of a sudden it's boom, like you just get like this note that comes in there, you're like, stop!
It sounds like that CD that you buy at the Halloween shop.
Right, exactly.
John Carpenter, who started the world with Halloween, now brings you the ultimate experience of terror!
Yeah.
The Fog.
And it's Jamie Lee
Wow.
Curtis and
That's
her
what it
first
said.
movie
I
with
read
her
it. I just
moms.
read it.
It's Janet Leigh and Jamie Lee Curtis are not playing mother and daughter, and they insisted on that. So it's a lot of the cast from Halloween back, but this time they have a budget. Beautifully filmed and creepy. Hal Holbrook has a role.
Hal Holbrook. Wow.
So
how old of a movie is that?
It's from 1980.
Okay. Wow, that is a...
And it's Adrienne Barbeau and her. It's how she started her, because she was married to John Carpenter.
Oh.
So she was originally supposed to be the star of the movie, but then as they were recutting it and putting it together, they realized that Jamie Curtis was now a horror movie scream queen. And so all the posters featured Jamie Lee Curtis. And even though she's not the star of the movie...
But the poster I just saw looks like Adrienne Barbeau.
Right, and it goes back and forth. She's
okay.
really the star, but they marketed it... If you were alive from that era, they marketed it as a Jamie Lee Curtis movie.
Oh, okay.
Where she's just a hitchhiker. Oh, and it's such a funny movie, that 1980. A hitchhiker, middle of the night, picked up by a guy who's drinking a beer. She shares the beer. She sleeps with them, and then she follows him on murderous adventures for an entire day of terror and never thinks... I gots to go.
Right.
I could have stayed home.
What the fuck happened? So, Denial is out with Rachel Weisz in a movie about that.
I love her.
She's so lovely, and even in a movie where they're trying to frump her up and get her another Oscar nomination,
I don't care.
You cannot sequester the beauty
so
of Rachel
beautiful.
Weisz. An interesting movie that I remembered.
She fits my demographic too.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Oh, right on the
Would you
money.
like to tell us your demographic again? I just like to make sure all the readers know.
Just line them up next to each other and see how they look identically alike. Rachel Weisz, Anne
Anna
Hathaway, Anna Kendrick,
The one
Demi
that sings,
Lovato.
yeah.
Sharon Obetter.
Sharon Old better.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
Yeah.
It's like to
Okay,
make sure she got a mention.
I've held it
an
as long as I
honorable
could.
mention somewhere in there.
Play a 30-minute dance break or talk about something because I'm about to pee my pants.
Oh, well, go pee for Christ's sakes. Well, I'm gonna. Side note.
dance.
Side note. No, I'm gonna talk about this.
We're gonna
Our
talk
friend
about this.
Jacob Treweiler on the old Facebooks. He just posted this. I'm just gonna read what he posted.
do.
Sometimes you go into your Halloween costume closet to see if you can find something for the upcoming holiday, and are forced to remember how much you've grown to like food in the past 10 years. Is Edna Turnblad a relevant costume? Asking for a friend.
Let me tell you, sometimes there are those people that you are like, we're in the same circle. Jacob is basically my spirit animal, and we almost never see each other. In fact, the last time I saw him in person, I didn't recognize him for a minute.
Oh, really?
Like he was standing in front of me, and then I was like, "Oh my God, that's who you are," because I
Oh.
see him online, like relentlessly. It's wonderful, because we are of the same mind.
Okay.
Like on the Facebook, online, we are the same person. I love everything that he ever posts.
I enjoy
and
him.
I'm feeling it as well. But yeah, but we never, we don't see each other
I rarely
on the
see
regular.
Jacob. Right.
Yeah.
Are we talking about
he's-
Jacob?
Yeah,
Because he's
over at
my
the
first
Plasma.
alternate on vacations.
Oh, okay.
Like he vacations with the same people as I do, but
Oh.
we don't vacation together.
Right. See, this is
So,
what I'm
like,
talking
yeah.
about.
Like he
Alternatives?
was just in Palm Springs with everybody
Yes.
that I was in P-Town with, and he was in P-Town for the trip that I didn't go to. Like he really is my first alternate.
He's kind of my spirit animal, so this makes a whole lot of sense. Being that you are also of the same brain across the table from me. And I was just saying about how much I really enjoy him, but never like see him in person.
Yeah.
Ever.
I think I've only actually met him once or twice, but we know like every person the same. We're
Yeah,
like one
and-
degree of separation.
And I said to
apart.
Clayton, like the last time he was literally in front of me, he walked away, and I turned around, and I think I ended up like looking at his tab, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's who that is!"
That is so funny.
Yeah.
So Denial, which I remembered the trial, and it's where the this really crazy man author sued historian, an American historian, for libel over he was a Holocaust denier, and he sued her for libel for saying that he was a liar. And in Britain, it's the opposite of how our libel laws work. So he specifically chose Great Britain, London, to do his lawsuit so
Right.
that the burden of proof went to her, not on him. And it's Rachel Weisz. It's fabulous actors. All of them.
It's Rachel Weisz. It's Tom Wilkinson.
Tom Wilkinson, who's very, very good in this.
Timothy Spall.
Timothy Spall, wonderful actor. And it really is good. I thought it was a story from the 70s. And when they were doing the timeline, and I realized the trial was in 2000, my brain just filed that as something that had to have happened decades ago. That 16 years ago, we were still arguing the Holocaust and whether or not it happened. Just
Right.
a
I can't
shocking turn
imagine
of events.
why
No,
we're-
there are still deniers.
Oh,
Yeah, of course there are.
Mel Gibson's father is.
Yeah.
That's how we know him. So, and I think this is one of our opening assaults into Oscar territory. Came out a little early, but watch for her to come up. It's a really, really good performance. And that our new critic at Entertainment Weekly, who I am not really enjoying, he didn't like Snowden. I'm just catching up on all my back Entertainment Weeklies. I've been like a month behind. He didn't like Snowden because he didn't like that that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was like trying to mimic his accent. He was saying like, why is he doing this weird voice? It was very off-putting because he was sounding like Snowden.
Isn't that what
Acting? I was like,
do
does this guy
when
just
they're
want everybody
portraying?
to...
Like
You're
when
onto something, Kat.
especially when you're portraying a real
Real
person.
person.
I understand like bad accents are bad, and sometimes it's better to not have the accent than have the bad accent. But if you're portraying a real person, shouldn't you do the best of
Right.
your ability to portray that person?
And in The Walk, where he was the guy from Man on Wire, the guy from Man on Wire was a mad little puppet. He was a crazy little French guy who was annoying as fuck, but charming. And he carried that off, and somebody was like, I don't understand what this portrayal is. Well, watch the fucking documentary. He's nailing it. Like,
Right.
But the guy, I was annoyed by it. So this guy is like, I don't understand why she's doing this Brooklyn accent out of nowhere. Well, first off, it was a Queens accent, and she looked and sounded so much like my friend Nora that it was freaking me out. Because she just had it down. And then for some reason...
oh, I love when
Tom-
she does accents.
Tom Wilkinson, who is either, I think he was British and he was trying to play a Scotsman, and he ended up doing Hannibal Lecter. Because that was a Welsh actor trying to do a non-accented American, and you ended up with this really tinny thing. And I said to my friend Kevin, I'm like, are you not getting Hannibal Lecter from his inflections over and over again? He's like, I thought it was just me. He's like, but I'm waiting for him to call her Clarice.
Have the lamb stop screaming, Clarice.
So go see that. Ghostbusters. I got that on demand. And it's fun. What a good $5 evening that was. They're all funny. The special effects are good. They spent way too much money on that movie. There was no reason for that to be a $140 million movie or whatever the cost of that was. But funny, funny, funny. It's just Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Leslie Jones, Kate McKinnon.
I'm sold.
What the fuck else do you need? I told her they could just stay there and make faces, and I would have giggled through the whole thing, and it would have been $5 worth. It was delightful. The Accountant with Ben Affleck. This is your hotel movie for the rest of time. If they're not playing Sandy Bullock next year when you're in a hotel, WTBS will be playing The Accountant for the rest of time. It was a good action movie. Some surprises. One surprise that if you've seen 2 movies, you saw it coming. But John Barenthal, the hottie from The Walking Dead.
The Accountant with Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick.
So this is my only complaint about a wonderful movie is Anna Kendrick has finally arrived in Hollywood, and for the first time I think ever, Rocket. What's the movie Rocket about the debaters? Oh no! That you can't even count that one. That was the closest I could come. This is the first time Anna Kendrick has ever played the girl.
Okay.
And it was so disappointing to see her reduced to the girl. And she literally disappears from the movie 3/4 of the way through with no
that sucks.
explanation. It's just like, oh, stay here, honey. This movie's going to get rough. You can't be in it. And it was just jarring. I have not sat down to a movie on purpose that had the girl character in so long that to see it again, I was like, are you fucking kidding me that you're going to tell her to like hide behind that wall, honey? We're going to take the rest of the movie from here. It was very, very disappointing.
That is disappointing.
But the movie was good other than that. And then I saw the girl on the train.
I'm not going to go see it.
But she's so cute.
I could watch Pitch Perfect all over again.
Okay.
Girl on the Train with Emily.
There's somebody, I'm just trying to read the chat room, but I can't do two things. So The Girl on the Train, a book that I read in about 7 hours, and then
on a train.
On a train. No.
Oddly,
I think I was on a plane, but it was a fast read, and it was one of those ones that there were some interesting parts to it, but I didn't think much of it. But I know I liked it. Like it wasn't time that I regretted spending. But honestly, when I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't remember how that book ended.
And well, don't tell me now, because I feel like I'm about to go read that book.
I was at work, and someone who had seen the movie and someone who had read the book were talking, and I was like, it's the funniest. And they were like about to spoil it. I'm like, no. Like I'm going to go into this movie enjoying it because I honestly don't remember the ending or any kind of twist. Like I remember like almost all of it, but like, I know there's a twist in there. And the movie was very well done. It's a little bit of an uncomfortable transition to America.
Okay.
The book takes place outside of London and in London, but in the movie, she seems to live in Manhattan and take a very long train ride back to Manhattan. Like I can't quite figure out where it is she's supposed to live.
One going up, one going down.
Maybe.
It's just a big circle as far as I can tell. So that's the only part that's kind of uncomfortable is like, where is she going upstate to live that looks just like a bad part of Manhattan, but then she gets off at Grand Central Station. That was the only thing that I found odd, but a great performance. And Emily Blunt, who's married to John Krasinski. Krasinski? I don't know.
Sure.
Very, very good movie.
I think Krasinski. It's K-R-A.
Very
the
good movie.
Traditional spelling.
And then to finish it all off, saw it a couple days ago. I was so afraid to watch it because I thought it was going to be such propaganda and so bad, but I finally saw 13 Hours, the Special Agents of Benghazi with John Krasinski as the star.
Sure. Yeah.
Very even-handed, really good action movie. Michael Bay directed it, and do not let that stop you. It was not as bad as I thought. Very, like, they gave you basic facts of, like, here's this, here's this, here's this. At the end, you're left with questions, but you're not like, oh, God damn it, Hillary shot those people herself. And it really gives you an idea of what doesn't come across in these petty arguments over Benghazi was how big of a fight that was and how long it lasted and how like how many more people were involved.
Sure.
So it really was an interesting little, just a little bit of more than you get from reading coldly about the events of that night of September 11th. It really gives you a little bit more perspective of how big a fight it was in the distance and kind of like what was going on with that transfer. And that the one thing was a covert CIA operation, and that's why they weren't sending in help, was because no one knew they were there.
Right.
They weren't supposed to know they were there, and that kind of plays into it. That there's a battle at the embassy, and then there was a battle at this other site, which I never knew. I just thought they came from the other site. So to know that there was 2 different sites, and it just gives you a little bit of a little bit more to work with on as as we continually are bombarded with questions about Benghazi. And I think
it's on my debate bingo card every time.
Yeah, and to see, because I think tomorrow night the surprise guest of Trump's is going to be one of the people that was killed in Benghazi's mother. But the other thing that they could just as easily do is bring in the family of Ambassador Stevens, who specifically asks all of them to stop politicizing his death, and specifically has said to everyone, take this off the table. We do not want you to use our son's death, our brother's death, for political gains. Like,
right.
It's not
Stop
cool.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just not cool. So it really was. But that movie is much better and much more even-handed. You are left with a lot of questions about everybody doing something wrong, but I thought it was very interesting, and it was a movie I was really kind of not wanting to see. So I thought I was very proud. But let me see. I think somebody texted me about the debate. Marina. Oh, he's bringing in Malik, Obama's half-brother.
Huh. All right.
And
Well, I don't know what that has to do with.
Yeah, I don't know either. So I'm very curious about that.
Dear Google, why is
So
Trump-
that is it for entertainment. Hopefully, lots of stuff to see. And your Oscar movie should start any day now. La La Land is the one to keep an eye out for.
You had a story about a cute guy that we talked about earlier.
Oh, I sent it. Oh, that's
Clayton's
right.
been waiting all show for this.
I did. Well, I just got the pictures ready.
Let me go to that article. I'm so sorry.
Oh, good.
If you wanted to do it,
I can be. You do that.
enjoy your go. Enjoy the go. It's a commercial I think I've read or heard.
It's a commercial for the squatty potty.
Oh, the squatty potty.
Oh, okay. So this is.
I don't even recall what the story's about.
It's a gay Christian man sharing an anti-gay letter from Texas megachurch. A gay Christian man from Texas took to Facebook earlier this month, posting a letter sent to him by a megachurch he once attended, which outlines that he was booted from the community because he is gay. Being gay and Christian, he says, seems to be not a thing a lot of people... Oh, he's saying that while many people think you can't be gay and Christian at the same time, he disagrees with it and says you can be both. Thomas believed that being gay was one of the unforgivable sins, wrestling with his sexuality. Thomas finally accepted that being gay is not a sin, and he came out to his friends at the Watermark Community Church last year. He shared his testimony on stage in front of 3,000 people. He believed with all of his heart that God would change me. He went to the programs they offered and recommended, but it just didn't work. He went to a Pray Away the Gay kind of place, which hopefully is going to be illegal in all 50 states soon, and then around the world. And it leads controversial disavowed practice of conversion therapy, and he acknowledged the damage that such practices can have on LGBT people, saying it's very sad to hear the stories of people almost committing suicide. And those Pray Away the Gay people lead to a lot of suicide. They are very, very harmful. So the megachurch sent him a letter, and in the note, church officials called Thomas's same-sex relationship a destructive pattern and took issue with his unwillingness to heed biblical counsel. And he was officially nixed as a member of the church.
No big loss.
Yeah, find another church. Seriously, find someone that prays the way you do. It's not that hard. They're praying that repentance comes quickly. It's just... Unfortunately, with this story, it's just one more evil church being shitty to a person and blaming Jesus.
Right.
You're just bigots.
You're just bigots, and you want to find someone else to blame it all. So you blame it on a book that has a lot of interesting stories.
And many of them very violent.
Violent.
And
If
contradictory.
you, and again, if you're, I just made a comment to somebody else earlier today. Dolly Parton has come out in a good Christian woman. She's come out many times of late saying that if you are, as you profess to be, a good Catholic person, why are you judging all of these other people? Why aren't you love and let love, which apparently is in whatever scripture she's reading or whatever, however she's interpreting it. But she's not condemning, that's probably too strong of a word, but she's just basically saying, if you are this person who believes in such a way of all of these teachings, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
You can't be casting judgment and shadows on all these people just to make yourself feel better because they believe differently than you do.
Right, and now currently, like in our American system, I'm going to forgive Trump. I'm just going to take just a second from nailing Bill Clinton to the cross to forgive Trump for bragging about sexually assaulting women. Just give me a minute so I can forgive him. But then I'm going to go back to nailing this fucker to the cross, who's apologized 100 times over. Like, at some point, you got to, like, there's got to be some equal reaction in your Bible. Like, either you forgive people and, oh, that's just who he was. Like, you know, Trump that was 11 years ago. He's not like that anymore. So then why do you keep bringing up fucking Bill Clinton?
Right. That's like he was 20 some odd years ago.
Right.
And you're throwing it in his face. So clearly you don't believe one or the other.
And I still like to throw the little fact up that, you know, Bill and Hillary, that's one marriage.
Still together.
Still together.
Figured their shit
Trump
out.
3 and got to each of the other, you know, the second from the first because of an affair. It was a chain reaction there. But Bill and Hillary, I don't care if you want to say it's arranged marriage, they're doing it just their forces combined, whatever the fuck. Still, it's one marriage.
Yeah.
Yep. And that, you know, that's how those marriages last that long. You don't get to 40 years of marriage without going through the shit.
Some shit, right.
Like, whatever it is, not everyone does it publicly on CNN.
Or in a White House.
Not everyone has an affair.
Yeah, has a blowjob investigated
Right.
by Congress.
But there is shit in the middle. Like, anybody that makes it past year 3, like, there's shit in the middle.
Yeah.
There
But-
just is.
All these people shitting out one side of their mouth while talking out the other.
Yeah.
And they're literally standing there, like, not mad about the Bill Clinton mistresses, accusers on the stage. And then we can't even get into, like, how offensive it is to blame Hillary for being a public defender, taking a case and learning from the case and setting up the Arkansas's first rape hotline.
Right.
Like, she's a public defender. You defend people that
Who
people
are
probably
assigned
are
to
not
you,
going to
right.
like. It's an assigned case. Like, bringing that up makes no sense. And yes, that girl, that woman, whatever we said this last week, whatever she feels about what happened is exactly how she should feel. That is exactly legitimate. If she is angry at Hillary Clinton, she should definitely be angry at Hillary Clinton. No one is begrudging her that. But us turning on and making it look like a public defender has committed some crime for doing your constitutional duty is
Completely unfair.
so non-patriotic. But these people that are like, oh no, we forgive the evangelicals. And if you, oh my God, if you haven't seen Billy Graham Jr.,
Oh, I've been watching him.
oh, dope to the tits. And if he's not, then there's something really not flowing all the way to the top there. Slow talker, talks like this. And oh my God, Trump's and we've spent time together. And then the other one,
Oh, Graham Jr. There's
Billy-
another one.
Billy
There-
Graham Jr.
There's Falwell's son, and there's.
Falwell, yeah, and I don't know. One of them is the one that talked real slow.
I think that's Falwell's son.
Okay, and then Billy Graham Jr. is
Sounds
like,
just like Billy Graham.
yeah, dad's not in this election. He knows both candidates. He hasn't been, around Hillary lately, but he's forgiven Trump. But Bill still has some work to do. And you're like, huh?
No.
No.
Like, shove that up your ass. And so now the evangelicals are warring with each other, which is a delight to read. All these fuckers just going at each other.
They should. Let them go.
It's been a charming story. But if you're following the Electoral College, and who isn't at this point, it puts Georgia on the map because evangelicals are now fighting with each other about whether or not to vote for him. Because, like, this magazine that should be taxed and this magazine that should be taxed are, like, saying this is wrong. And it's delightful.
Let them all go.
Oh, yeah, and Amina, that's exactly it. That the U.S. election is now using survivors of sexual assault as pawns for optics. And and what we all learned from the 90s with the Bill Clinton stuff, when we believed him when he said that it was all lies, and we found out, no, he's a pig. Good president, terrible man.
Yeah.
But he apologized, so I guess you forgive him according to these Christians. They're now looking at Trump survivors and saying the exact same thing that they're mad at people for saying. Like, they're mad at Hillary for degrading and demeaning the women that accuse Bill Clinton, while they turn around and shit out the other side of their mouth and say the same thing about the women accusing Trump. And it's like, I want to punch them in the face. I just want to be like, and they're women. It's those two blonde women on CNN that I want to bang their heads together and be like, could you please listen to yourself? I know you're not going to stop talking, but could you just listen to what you're saying? And the only person taking your side is Anna Navarro, who is now my Republican best friend. Nicole Wallace will have to wait till after the election, for I'll love her as much as I do Anna Navarro.
Anna Navarro's fantastic.
Anna Navarro is she's going to have a stroke.
She's had it.
She's had it.
She has.
Oh my God, so much fun.
Wasn't she on the Daily Show the other day?
Oh, shut up. Oh, I got to find
Hang
that.
on,
I
let me
don't
see if
know.
it was if I'm thinking of the right person.
So that's that story. And the reason that I found that story is because I think that kid is so cute.
Oh yeah, she was.
Oh, I got to find that.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
she was on with Trevor Noah the other day.
And so
Gotcha.
did you go see Trevor Noah at Co-America?
Is that this past weekend or is it the coming weekend?
No, it was last Friday.
I missed it.
Okay. Because it kept coming up as you like telling me to go see it.
Oh, I didn't say.
And then I just
Because you
couldn't-
probably marked the event as interested.
I may have, but I don't recall.
Because I got
doing it.
emails, I got like messages from
Oh
you
no,
constantly,
no,
like
no,
not
no,
messages,
no!
but like,
I would have enjoyed him, but I did not go. I
Yeah.
actually, for some reason, thought it was this coming weekend. I never even paid attention to the date. Never, no.
and now I have friends from all over telling me that according to, let's see what Polls Plus is. Everybody knows how to use this. Okay. Polls Only says that Hillary Clinton will win Arizona, but we all know you got to go to Polls Plus.
Right.
All of us that are following 538 like crack addicts.
Right.
Polls Plus is getting pretty close though, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Oddly, we are about to run short on time. Do you have things in your two
You know,
things?
I don't have two specific things. I was gonna jump up on a soapbox.
Go. Feel free.
But I think Al said a lot of it. I think I'm at a point, and I said earlier in the show that like just sending my ballot in made me feel lighter and happier. And
The release, just
just okay.
because at this point anything could happen right now. It doesn't matter because you've
anything.
already cast your vote.
Right, and you know all of the because I'm crack addicting all the podcasts with Al, and all of the poll watchers and the people that podcast on kind of the numbers and the demographics and where the trends are moving, they all kind of are starting to agree that people are kind of heels dug in. You know what I mean? You're not changing any minds. The third debate's not going to do a goddamn thing for anybody.
Right.
You know, Trump supporters, there's 39% of this country that's going to defend him to the death. He could walk up and slap them in the face and pee in their Cheerios, and they would vote for him.
And now he's wishing he had Romney's 47%.
Totally wishing he had Romney's 47%. 'Cause
All of
he's
a
got-
sudden, that looks like a lofty
more,
goal.
right.
Yeah.
He's got his 39%. So I feel like it's time to, and here's where the soapbox comes in. I feel like it's time to start conversations about November 9th.
Oh, definitely, because there's trouble coming.
We do it here too. We have all, as a country, spent the better part of a year looking at our neighbors and looking at everyone else as them.
Oh, yeah.
But we still have to. But we still have to work with them.
Yeah.
We still have to live with them. We're still neighbors. We still go to the same schools. We still go to the same churches. If you decide to go to church, whatever, we still sit in the same bars with those them. Like there has to be a comeback around because otherwise we are going to see a civil war in this country if we keep just throwing rocks at each other from across the street. Like this isn't what American politics is supposed to be. Like it's supposed to be hard, it's supposed to be messy, it's supposed to be, you know,
I
if
have a
there's
strict rule about no rocks on my street. Very strict rule.
I love it, and I wish I was bringing more humor because I would rather take a lighthearted view of things to my two
It
things
kind of
segment.
took an ugly turn this week with, and like we were talking about with George Washington and the farewell address about the peaceful transition of power from one party to the other. Where she and I have both been listening to the presidential podcast where you go president by president, and you're finding out about bitter rivalries and some of the ugly things that have been said to each other. But this is the first
then
time.
they concede. Then they get to the election and they say, "You won," and I go sit under my own vine. And
but
my
he's
own
not
tree.
going to. He might accept it because that's what it has to do. But he's not going to concede from the standpoint of he's going to continue to rant and blah 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 all after this.
The problem right now is number one, we have someone in a leadership position. We have Donald Trump, who is setting the stage for a violent revolt
Yeah.
when he loses. He is setting the stage for his supporters to start rioting in the streets.
And he's turned it because he's not like disagreeing with Clinton is one thing.
Yeah.
And McCain and Obama disagreed with each other. And when it came time to be a statesman, John McCain did the right thing.
Stands
and
up and does the right thing, right?
stopped that woman, said no, he's a good man, like
he's not going to go away
a
silently.
decent and honorable man.
Right.
He has now turned it from calling her a criminal and locking her up and ignoring the Constitution because he doesn't have that power, and we certainly don't want someone that can just imprison somebody. That's what they do in not free countries. But now he's turning that horrible light of his on our election process.
Yeah.
And now you see, and it's been all over the news today, and all the senatorial debates, everybody's answering the question. And Marco Rubio is like, Florida, if it comes down to Florida, which most people don't think it will, like the race should be decided, even if it's a close contest in Florida, that shouldn't turn the tide. But Marco Rubio is pointing out it's a Republican governor that appointed the election officials for Florida in their 67 or 69 counties, each with their own election boards. It's not rigged. It can't be. And if it is rigged, we're in charge. So if you're turning the guns on someone, you're turning the guns on us.
Right.
On the side you're allegedly for, but now they're like, he's on his own side. Like, he's kind of left. He's just turned this into such a, and every time you see it, like, the ugliness just takes on a new scope.
Just when you think it can't get uglier, it gets uglier. And unfortunately, he's stirring up people that aren't thinking for themselves. And that like takes me into my second thing. Like, how do we start to help everyone determine between, and I'm not even just talking about, rednecks from red states. I'm talking about everyone figuring out what is real and what is not.
Right.
Because it's so hard, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I question what is real and what is not. Like, I feel like I'm fairly fact-driven. I feel like I'm fairly well-informed. I read different sources.
But I
don't
fall in
stay
the
in my echo chamber.
NBC bubble.
Yeah, and I don't watch any TV news at all. All of my news is print. And I do, try from different sources, but sometimes you get stuck in that. Well,
you echo chamber it
maybe what I believe is wrong. You know what I mean? Because I'm certain that what you believe is wrong, maybe what I believe is actually wrong. You know what I mean? Like that questioning part. And how do we get to a place where a majority of Americans are wanting to operate from a place of fact? Because a lot of people don't want to. They don't care.
They don't like the facts because, and that was what the denial thing has a very important message about. Her name is Deborah Lipstadt, I think is her name. She was saying, like, I can't debate the Holocaust with somebody because I can't debate that the earth is round.
Right.
The earth is round. The Holocaust happened. Elvis is dead. These are facts. You can have an opinion, but you can't put them against the facts and try to make it like it's an equal
fight.
Split screen.
Right. But the problem that we're, and the place that I feel like we're at right now is we have, two very different realities. Mm-hmm. And there are people that can't tell the difference. And you know what I mean? Like, who's right? Because you've got one side saying this is rigged. This is, bullshit. These things are happening. The polls are wrong. The media is out to get you. Your government's out to get you. Your neighbors are out to get you. Everyone is out to get you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I believe you. But then there's this other side that says, no, calm down. The system works. I know you can't see it. I know you can't. I know I can't. I can try and prove it. But now we've accused these people that have the facts, the people that own the facts. We now doubt them.
Right. Because you've put opinion on one side and a fact on the other, and you're trying to have.
And you're making them equal.
Yeah, you're making false equivalencies.
Right.
And it's very upsetting. And the people that are watching Fox News and the people that are watching MSNBC, there is a couple hours of news on both stations.
Sure.
It's very, very small. The time of actual news on MSNBC
it's all punditry.
Is very small. The rest is just pundits. It's just people saying what you want to hear depending on which side you're on. Yes, Rachel gives you a little bit more fact base. She actually has a college degree. She's actually studied in these things. But she's not doing anything all that different from the other side than they are on Fox News. The problem with Fox News is people think, all right, I watched Shepard Smith for a couple hours. That was news. So Santa, it just is white because Megyn Kelly is sitting there like she's a news reporter and she just told me Santa is white, or like the Obama story that he
Right.
went to India and it cost $200 million a minute or whatever that story was. That was debunked immediately, but they just kept it going and they kept talking about it till people were like, well, that really happened.
Right.
It's on the news.
Yeah, because they don't realize the news ended a few hours ago. Now you're watching an opinion show.
Infotainment.
Definitely. And
It is.
but people
It
are
is.
reading that and then they go online and they read a news, like a fake thing, and like that we were quoting from the bipartisan report. I still, from reading it all week, I still don't know if that's a news or an opinion site. I still can't.
The bipartisan report.
I can't tell.
I don't know. Yeah, every time I read one of those, I go and like try and Google it.
And you have to go somewhere else
and
to find out if they're
something
telling the
else.
truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't, in their
But-
defense, by calling themselves bipartisan report, I can't tell which way they're leaning.
Yeah, and I think we need to start like I don't know how, but somehow we need to say to our media people, like, we need you to help us know the difference.
Yeah, yes.
Like, we needed to say at the bottom of the screen really big when somebody's just talking out of their ass, this is an opinion.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good
Editorial
That's
opinion,
a great
yeah.
idea.
Like,
editorial, and not
because-
not that many people know what editorial
Right.
was. Like these
Well-
are not vetted facts.
But and don't roll your eyes. But back to like the newspaper. The more I read the newspaper, the more I realize that opinions have a section. Like it
It's all
says
the
real big.
editorial.
Opinion, editorial. Like it tells you up front, this is not real news. This is what this person thinks. Like, how do we do that on TV? How do we do that in real life? How do we do that more?
Right. So CNN turns out the downfall of the nation.
I told you that 2 years ago.
Terrible. Yeah.
Cable news is the worst thing to ever happen to this country.
Because you're trying to fill
Cable
24
news
hours.
and reality television. We're going to blame CNN and we're going to blame MTV. When historians study the fall of the United States, they're going to blame CNN and MTV.
Right. And
That's the end. That's my soapbox.
if you have the people in Texas wanting to change textbooks
Yeah.
to whitewash America and make us look better,
Oh my God, because we look terrible.
because we're horrible people.
We are terrible people.
We had our own. There was a Holocaust in this country that we deny. Yeah.
All right.
We turned the one into workers. The other one we just murdered.
There's that.
Smallpox for everybody.
I'm not kidding. We need a common enemy and quick.
Yeah.
We'll find one, I'm sure. Somewhere.
Time to invade Mars.
Let's do it.
We got nowhere else to go.
On that happy note,
Oh my heavens, you've done it. You've wasted 3.5 hours of a perfectly good Tuesday night or a Wednesday morning or whenever the hell you're listening to this. You've done it. Congratulations. We'll be back next week with more
the world is not going to end between now and
opinions
then.
or news. We're not sure. You decide. We'll let you decide.
We're mostly opinions.
Mostly
but
opinions.
There's
But as
only
the-
20 more days of this shit.
And
as
some shitty internet
We wrap
news.
up tonight's show. Let's leave you with this parting thought, shall we? We will see you next Tuesday.
And yes, Joe, Klingons are the answer.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America.